Welcome, everyone, to episode 101 of Respawn Aim Fire. Yo soy Chad Michaelinas, the multilingual beast of the Kick-Ass Irreverent Gaming Podcast in Rhode Island.
He speaks one language, to be totally clear.
Okay, I speak German as well.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I was one class away from a minor in college.
Oh, I did not know that.
And that voice there is the wonderful Holden DePardo. Holden, say hello in the only language you know.
English. Oh, hi. Hello. Sorry.
Apparently doesn't even know English that well. Right across the street from Holden, also in Rhode Island, is Matt from Rhode Island. Matt, say hi.
Hi.
I appreciate your baby-ass baby mode shirt.
Yeah. This is good for my So Fucking Humble segment.
Yeah. Yes,
Teaser.
I concur. Tease and a half. Welcome back, everybody. Host of Ryan Subscriber Interrogatives, Ryan Fitzgerald. Woo! That's my baby! Ryan,
hey, guys. Hey.
You're in Wisconsin? Central time somewhere, right?
Oklahoma,
still Central time, though, right?
it's still Central Time.
They're basically
Just
the same.
Not Wisconsin.
I mean,
I don't wear cheese on my head.
KLAHOMA, Oklahoma. You guys, we have a ton of fun shit to talk about today. We got GDC, some awards, some stuff that was announced. We've got a ton of games announced. Shit, what was the other thing I said I was going to tease before this? Some Death Stranding news. But first, we're going to start our discussion today by meeting you guys and learning a little bit more about you. Oh, twist. What? Ryan, we've already met you once on our side quest for BioShock 2, but if somebody didn't give a shit about BioShock 2 and they didn't listen to that side quest, can you give the people a little rundown of who you are, what you like, your favorite color, and who will win the 2024 election in Russia?
Okay. In Russia? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not very up to speed on my politics in Russia.
That's all right.
No clue. I'm going to say the bear. That's,
The bear.
The polar bear? I don't know. Do they even have polar bears in Russia? I don't know.
Probably.
I think it's brown bears.
The one polar bear that's left
one
that's not
polar bear.
dead.
Yeah. My name's Ryan Fitzgerald. I play games, recreationally, really. And then actually, Matt and I started our own podcast. Thanks
Oh my
to
God,
you guys.
what is it? What's it called? Where do they find it?
Our podcast is When Gaming. So when you play games, you talk games, and eventually you make some friends. So you can find us on Twitter at When Gaming. We actually live stream our podcast every Tuesday night at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. And so you guys can go on to Twitch at twitch.tv/When Gaming. And you guys can kind of be a part of the show that way. And then after we're done recording the podcast, we actually just stay on for another hour or so and play some games.
As a real-life testimonial, I can say it's good. You guys should absolutely listen to it. It's so fun. And you would have no idea that you guys met literally days before you started recording it and then hadn't even heard each other's voice before. So, and you guys see each other for the first time literally right now on this phone call.
It is, yes.
Magic happens here.
Magic does happen.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So yeah, go check that out. When Gaming, WHEN Gaming. That's English for gaming. Matt. Same questions in order. Go.
Rusev, if you guys watch the WWE, Rusev, he's a Russian wrestler. He's going to win the election. Orange is my favorite color. I play games professionally, although I'm not good enough to make any teams.
Well, you got to play the right games. No one's going to have an Animal Crossing team.
Right, yeah, of course. And, like you were saying before, I'm in Rhode Island. I play games for fun. I play just about anything I can get my hands on. And I also do a podcast called When Gaming with Ryan.
Oh my God, tell us about it.
So you can find us on Twitter. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So all the places he said, yeah. And it's been great. We literally met because of your episode on BioShock 2, which I had to listen to because BioShock is one of my favorite series. And I heard Ryan put out the call for wanting to start a podcast, and I was all about that. I've been wanting to start one as well. I just didn't have the right people around me to do a gaming podcast, and here we are now, 3 episodes in, 4 on Tuesday, and we'll be,
So a couple weeks ago on episode 1, you had mentioned you had never played Minerva's Den. Have you rectified that yet?
I haven't rectified that yet, no. No.
All right, we'll talk when you do. You'll be back on
Not yet.
The day that you finish it. We'll call an emergency podcast meeting.
Perfect. That's all. Is that like a bullhorn out the window? Do I just listen for it? The emergency? Or do I send the call?
Me screaming.
All right. I'll play it. I'll send out the call, and I'll listen for the response.
When you hear, ah! The proper response is, which is the same noise Rose makes when she tosses the heart of the ocean over the railing of the Titanic.
Perfect. I'm excited.
And that's how we know that we have to podcast together.
Okay.
Matt,
Sounds
how
good.
long have you lived in Rhode Island, and why is it such a part of your identity?
My whole life, and I don't know why it's a part of my identity. Honestly,
It's a very Rhode Islander thing to have Rhode Island be a part of your identity. It just is.
yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Definitely, I think if people, the first thing people ask me is, well, they say that they do the accent, which I don't know if people can hear it coming through. They try the accent, and then they ask me if I've ever had coffee milk and all that. So
Coffee milk.
So
Yeah,
coffee
creamer?
milk. Most people won't know what coffee milk is. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's coffee flavored milk, but it's like a Rhode Island thing.
Oh.
yeah, it's like chocolate milk, strawberry milk. You have coffee syrup, and
Yeah.
you put it into a milk, and you make it coffee milk.
Oh.
At
good.
school, when you had
It's very good.
milk, chocolate milk, strawberry milk, in Rhode Island we had a coffee milk option.
You had a carton of coffee milk for
Yes.
children?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was just coffee flavoring, not caffeinated,
it's
right?
coffee.
Yeah, it was
Flavoring.
coffee flavoring, but it's still tons of sugar in it, so it's still great
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Coffee milk for children. All right. Great.
Interesting.
There are a lot
Jumping
of Rhode
into-
Islanders.
There's a
sorry.
lot of round stuff.
Son of a bitch. Okay. We're going to jump in to our quest log talking about Nintendo. Christ on a cracker. Okay. You guys, Nintendo had a Nindies event this week. And we're going to take you through all of the Nindies that were announced during the showcase. First of all, just a disclaimer up front, none of them were 3DS. And if you're crying about that, you should go take a look at yourself and make a key change. Michael Jackson, R.I.P. Also, shouldn't have brought up Michael Jackson.
He came on the radio
R.I.P. for
today. I
two
think it's
reasons.
fine.
Holden,
He got buried
get
twice.
us back on track. I can't talk right now.
Exactly. What did
Holden,
you say
you're
to us?
taking
Making
over.
an awesome Michael Jackson joke. Honestly, so I texted Chad immediately after the Indies event. Went, that was a really good Nindies event. I'm glad that I watched that, and then I totally forgot about it because everything else of the week was so crazy and amazing. So yeah, let's go through these games that I barely remember at this point. One is Cuphead. That is actually one I remember.
That's the only thing that matters.
Exactly. Well, there's two that matter. Cuphead is the first one that matters.
Cuphead.
It's also the bigger of the two, to be fair.
Let's take a little sidebar here real quick. First of all, Cuphead, fucking amazing game.
By the way, this is coming to Switch.
Coming-
not
oh, yes,
3DS.
coming to
As
Switch,
Judy
not
had-
3DS.
As Chad said, not 3DS.
If
That'd
you
be
wanted to come to
hysterical,
3DS, you need to take a look at your face and make a key change. No, it's coming to Switch. Coming via a patch a little bit later will be Microsoft Xbox Live support, which means that you can get Xbox achievements, which means that I don't have to worry about doing all. I can continue my streak towards getting 1,000 gamer score points on this game from my Switch, which is going to be so fucking good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I want it to be a barf game so I can play with Chad because that sounds like a lot of fun. So maybe that will happen in the future. Look forward to that. I do like this as well. There's a story here that from Nintendo Life that the co-creator of Cuphead is totally on board with having Cuphead as a character in Smash Bros. He literally just is waiting for the papers to sign. He doesn't
Why
need
has
anything.
that not been a rumor yet?
Exactly, right? As soon as I heard that, I'm like, I haven't played Cuphead, but one of the cool things about Smash Bros. Is not just different characters getting together, but kind of different art styles getting together. It's kind of cool to see Game & Watch next to Star Fox or Samus. And I think Cuphead would fit well into that distinct art styles across the different characters.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it would be awesome to have him, and it would be the first, Cuphead and Mugman would be the first Western-based characters, right? Because that's still not a thing, right, in
Yeah,
Smash Brothers?
Yeah.
I think we're very close. Like, this is the closest, to, as far as rumors go for characters to be in Smash that we've ever been. I mean, now they're coming on Switch. You can use Xbox Live for your gamer score, the achievements. I think this is the closest we've ever been. It would be awesome to see him on screen, for sure. And perfect fit, honestly. I mean, it would be a perfect fit for Smash.
Especially with all the extra moves that he's got that you can like power up and stuff like that in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
That blows my mind that this is the first time that we've ever heard anyone mention that.
So let's go through another list of games here that all looked really good.
Hold on. Also about
No
Cuphead.
chat.
Just buy it. You can pre-purchase it now. It comes out April 18th. Everyone buy it. Okay, I'm done.
I'm going to buy it. I can't wait.
Did you
The rest
pre-purchase
of these
it?
games... Not yet, no.
You lying son of a bitch.
I'm going to. I didn't say I had yet. So all the other games here are all games I'm actually pretty interested in. They all look really good, but I've forgotten about like most of these. Do you guys remember any of these
looking
games?
at this list of games, I've already forgotten all of them.
Yeah, I feel really bad.
Yeah, there's actually a couple that stand out to me. One of them being the Red Lantern. It's the one.
We'll start with that one. What was that?
Yeah,
one?
It was the one about it done by what's the name of the studio? But anyway, it's about the Iditarod, the dog racing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It looks like Firewatch for dogs, not for dogs, but
yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, I remember that one now. Yes,
that's exactly what it reminded me of. I was like, this looks. I'm curious to see if this is a Campo Santo joint, and it wasn't. It was, and I can't think of the name of the studio now, but it definitely had a Firewatch vibe to it, which drew me to it. And I just kind of liked how there was the narrator going over. It's also the main character, and it just kind of, I don't know, just kind of grabbed me. Out of all of these, that was one of the ones that really like dragged me in.
If I remember correctly, that one too, there are kind of randomized events in that. So like you might come across a bear or something.
Yeah, it's a roguelike. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting as well, which is very, very different than Firewatch. It's kind of cool to see that style of game taken in a different direction.
Yes.
Going down the list, I will just go down the list, and if you guys want to point one out, go for it. Overland coming fall 2019. My Friend Pedro, June 2019. Neocab, summer 2019. That actually does look kind of cool in terms of art style.
Yes.
That was like the one where you're in the cab, and it's like this kind of like Blade Runner-ish kind of city with a very cool, not anime art style. What kind of art style would you describe that as, if you remember?
I don't remember it.
Cool. Yeah, I don't really know.
Darkwood coming May 2019. Katana Zero, April 18th, 2019. Rad, summer 2019. That's Double Fine's new game. The Creature in the Well, summer 2019. Blood Roots, summer 2019. Pine, August 2019. Super Crate Box, April 2019. Nuclear Throne, available today. Ultra Bugs, Swim Sanity, summer 2019. Blaster Master 02, available today. Stranger Things 3, available the same day as the Season 3 comes out, and that's July 4th, 2019. And finally, one worth talking about, Cadence of Hyrule, coming spring 2019.
Ooh! I just want to say one thing about Stranger Things 3. It looks just as bad as when they unveiled it a few months ago.
Yeah, not really interested.
The trailer itself for the show looks dope as fuck.
Yes.
But the game, meh.
Yeah, so Cadence of the Hyrule is a indie partnership with, what's the name of that studio guy? I gotta look it up right now.
They're the guys who did Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yes.
Which is a game I've never played.
Never played it, but I'll play the Zelda version of it. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Definitely,
right?
Yeah.
You'd play the Zelda version of anything.
I would. Actually, it's not true. I didn't play Link's Crossbow Training.
You didn't play that?
I didn't play that. I didn't play
did,
Triforce
and it was
Heroes,
great.
and I bought it, and I still didn't play it. So there's things I'll play that are Zelda, and I won't do it. I haven't beat Majora's Mask yet.
Damn.
But you've played it a couple times.
Yeah, I have. I've tried.
He's just not good at it.
I don't like the time mechanic. Anyway, that's another conversation. So, anyway, this is kind of a cool partnership. There was a rumor a while ago with Cadence of the Hyrule. Going back to that again, there was a rumor a while ago, 2 weeks ago or so, that there was another another Zelda game coming out that's 2D. That was an eShop game. This is definitely what that was. So that was a true rumor. So cool
this
to see
is
that happen.
super dope because we've seen Nintendo take partnerships with like Ubisoft for Mario plus Rabbids and whatever the Star Fox integration with Battle for Atlas was. Starlink, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this is like giving a license to an indie studio, and this isn't just like, oh, Link's a character in it. It straight up looks like Link,
yeah, the art,
like 2D art style for Zelda.
Well, also a lot of the enemies are from Zelda, like there's Dark
Right.
Nuts. I saw there's a Dark Nut in there. That was really cool. The story is also cool. They approached Nintendo not about this partnership, but about just featuring some kind of Nintendo or Zelda cameos in their games. And then Nintendo came back and said, "Well, we have a better offer for you. Like, how would you like to do this instead?" That's really cool, kind of how that played out. So good for them.
Not knowing what Crypt of the Necrodancer was, like I've heard the name a lot, but I've never actually watched any play of it. Watching the trailer for this, I was like, this game looks kind of cool, but the characters and all the enemies were moving at such a slow, deliberate pace.
Which is strange to see at first.
Yeah. I didn't understand, though, that it's like music and rhythm based. So I was like, God, I hate how slow and weird and staggered they're moving. But it's like, oh, you're probably like tapping a button in time to move your character or something like that.
Oh, see, I guess I didn't realize that at all. Is that character with the shovel from the other games as well they've done? Is that like a known character? Do we know that? Does anybody know? No?
No.
I don't remember.
No
what the kids look
say,
like.
I say.
Okay. Well, it looks cool. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what other Nintendo IP, gets handed, the keys get handed to small indie developers. That's really cool. This looks great.
Oh, absolutely. Like, what if the Celeste people got Mario? What would they do with a Mario game?
Oh,
But it wouldn't be the same, though.
Oh, fuck.
That'd
Celeste.
be cool. A super hard Mario game?
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Okay.
Where Mario's
so just wanna
dealing with
show you.
depression?
Crypt of the Necrodancer, she has a shovel.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's probably
so it looks like-
the person.
Okay, cool. I dig that, how they're taking the main character from their games and mixing it with Zelda and Link. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
I also heard the music at first, and I was like, how the hell did they get away? This isn't like a remixed version of Zelda music. That's the Zelda music. How did they get away with that? And then they showed Link, and I was like, what?
So, that looks cool. Definitely.
Yeah. So, some fun things. I don't know. I 100% honesty. I am very unprepared today, and I didn't look at any of what we have in the notes, so I'm going to wing it. I don't know if we've mentioned this in the notes or not, but tomorrow there is a PlayStation. Tomorrow, Monday, so you guys already know about this by the time we reach it. There's a PlayStation Indies thing kind of going on.
Yeah, we have
as well.
that in the notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on Tuesday, there's an Xbox Indies thing, very, very similar going on as well, where they're going to reveal a bunch too. So, lots of fun showcases for indie titles. Yay.
Very cool.
We're going to take a side quest. Not a side quest. A side. What's the thing where you turn your car really fast and it goes side? Drift.
We're going to take a Tokyo Drift.
We're going to take a Tokyo Drift into playtime. Jesus Christ, you guys. Today is hard for me mentally. I've just been racking my brain playing Sekiro. My brain is so exhausted from this fucking one hunter person. But before we talk about Sekiro real quick, I want to mention DMC because I have a feeling Sekiro is going to be a little bit more in-depth discussion.
Yeah.
I played Devil May Cry 5 just like last week. I beat it this week. I think I might have overstated just a bit how great this game is. It is still a wonderful polished game. It is the utmost best stylish action game that there is. But maybe not like one of the best games of the generation. I think that might be taking it a step too far, like I said last week. But no, this game is absolutely amazing. If you have any interest in stylish action games at all, you should absolutely pick it up. If you're just curious about stylish action games and you've never played one, this is definitely the one to play. It is really cool. I love the way they handle multiplayer in this as well, where you're not playing with two people at a time, but you're playing a level, and many of the chapters are different characters, but they're like happening at the same time. So you might play Chapter 8 with Nero, and Chapter 9 is playing through the same area, but going through different pathways and stuff like that with V. And so you're playing, and then off in the distance, you can see another person playing, and it's like, hey, so-and-so 569 is playing V right beside you. And at the end of the thing, you can rate how stylish they were.
Oh,
And
that's
then
dope.
they get like cool items if they get rated as
cool.
stylish. And then there's also times when like you're all three taking different paths, and then like all of your paths cross at one point in the chapter, and you're fighting another monster with these two other random people as the other characters. Anyway, really dope. Love how it handles multiplayer. Fantastic game. Maybe not top 10 of the generation, but absolutely in the discussion for like top 10 of this year, maybe. I could definitely see this being in the top 10 list for this year. And it's still fucking gorgeous. Even after playing Sekiro for 4 hours today, I can say Devil May Cry is prettier. It's a winner. But hold on, I know you played Sekiro too. Did any of you other guys play Sekiro? Matt, Ryan?
No, we haven't.
Good old pregnant pause. All right. Well, let's talk all about what you haven't played. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Let me
I
just
wanna hear
mention
about
Captain
it.
Toad really quickly, and then we'll jump into Sekiro because that's going to be a long conversation.
Okay.
Because I'm pumped. I put 12 hours into it since Friday, so I'm pretty far.
God.
Okay.
Not pretty far. I'm actually not that far at all. This is a really fucking hard game, but played a lot of it. Anyway, Captain Toad. I just want to mention that I'm still surprised by that game and just how much content there is in that game for the price point. It keeps just tucking more levels behind.
Tell people how many levels are in it so far that you found.
Okay, so I mistold you the amount
I know.
last time. So there are 18 levels in the first book. As I said before, I thought the first book was all there was in the game. So like
Me too.
18 levels, yeah, like, they're all really good. Whatever. It's a Nintendo game. It's overpriced anyway. But 2, there's another book as soon as you beat the second book. And I'm like, oh, wow, there's even more. That's 18 more levels in this one. Then there's a third book. That's 25 more levels. Actually, there's like 28 levels in the third book. And then a bonus book opens up, and then there's a star book after that. There's just a lot. I was very surprised, considering when you first play the game, it seems like it's just the one book. And there's a lot, and the levels get a lot harder as you go along. I'm actually surprised at how much more difficult it gets.
I went from playing half of book 1 and being like, man, I guess I'll save the other half because I don't want to beat this too fast, but maybe not enough content in there. To then you said book 2 exists. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And then 5 books, I'm like, fuck it. No, I'm not even trying. It's too many levels.
It's really charming. It's
your
great.
Stream
I think
froze
it's
on the
gem.
perfect picture of your face.
Is it?
It froze and you were just like...
That's hysterical. I think this game is a gem that Nintendo, like a hidden gem of Nintendo. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it a lot unless they're already really, really big Nintendo fans. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, let's talk about Sekiro because I'm just so pumped about this game. I want to talk about it. Chad, you're 4 hours in. What's your experience been?
Yes, I am 4 hours in. 1 hour of which has been trying to kill one person. So I still haven't fought a boss yet. Mm-hmm. But this is the second person you come across that requires 2 death blows. And they have the long spear and they stab at you a lot. You know what I'm
that's
about?
the first one? There's a lot of mini bosses before him, I thought.
That's the second one I've run into. Because there's one that's like a samurai
the second
guy.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the one that I spent about an hour on. Anyway, this game, first of all, there was someone who wrote in who asked me, it was Dallas from a couple weeks ago. Dallas wrote in and said, hey, I've never really been impressed with the other software games. Let me know how Sekiro differs a little bit. So Sekiro differs mostly in the combat. It is much faster because your character is much more agile. You have double jumps. You move a lot quicker. And instead of picking up different weapons, you now have one sword that you're using and then like a trick hand. And you get a lot of different combat techniques that you can use. So whether it's like a whirlwind slash with your sword or like jump in the air and leap and spin and hit somebody. And so there's actually like skill trees and progressions rather than like putting points into strength or endurance and stuff like that too. There's also a really cool resurrect mechanic where if you die, you get 1 resurrect. And then through other things, you might be able to like gain a second resurrect as well before you have to go back to the equivalent of a bonfire, which I forget what they're called in this one. Buddha statues.
Idol statues.
Idol statues, that's it.
Yeah. There is a Buddha statue in the game, though.
They are very spiritually similar, though, in how they play and your progression through them.
I like to think of it as a long-lost twin brother of the
Separated at birth.
the Blood Souls games that just lived in a different country and just turned into a very different person. But it's still them.
Yeah.
It's still them.
Proving that nature is very, very heavily weighted in the nature versus nurture. But it is hella fun. I'm getting sucked in just like I would with normal Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. I was skating by pretty easily. Like I hadn't died except for like one small time, and I hadn't died. And I was like, man, this is going. I'm 3 hours in. I've only died once. What is going on? And then I got to that guy, and I'm like, how do I fucking beat him?
Yes, I
I beat him, and I went, yeah, fuck yeah! And I started screaming. It was great.
I feel like this game is harder than Dark Souls and Bloodborne in terms of bosses. The boss battles are far harder in my experience, and mini bosses included in that. But individual enemies I find are easier once you get the mechanics down and understand that you should not be moving away from your enemies ever. You should not be really backing away from them. You need to be in their face at all times, countering them whenever they attack you, and hitting them back when they're not hitting you.
The counter is so important, and it's still not something I've mastered yet.
And once you get that down, it really opens up and becomes, I think, honestly, a lot more interesting in terms of gameplay than Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I'm really surprised by that because that's always been a highlight is how good the combat and moment to moment gameplay is in those games. And it's just outclassed here. I think that countering system is so sick.
Yeah,
it makes every sword fight feel intense. and just if you mess up once, it's done. Like, you have to be perfect. And that's where the resurrection mechanic is so smart, because I don't really use it to fight back again. I use it to run away so I don't lose any of my experience points. And that kind of totally changes how you approach a Dark Souls game. There's also, and this is a spoiler because I don't think you've really come across this entirely yet, leveling up is way different in this game.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to avoid spoilers on this, like, just stop listening for like a minute or two. It used to be in Dark Souls you grind to fight a boss. You leveled up by fighting enemies so you could fight a boss. When you level up in this game, you're really just improving, like Chad said, like you're improving your skill tree. You're getting different like weapon, like weapon arcs would be equivalent to like Dark Souls. They're like different skills you can have. Whether that's going to be, you can jump in the air and use your like pyrotechnic ability at the same time or something like that, or it's going to be a new like a new way of swinging your sword, or something like that. However, leveling up your health and leveling up your attack power is done by beating bosses. When you beat 4 mini-bosses, you can level up your health. When you
that's the prayer beads. Gotcha.
Yep. When you beat a boss, like a main boss, that's how you increase your attack power. So you can't, like, grind to beat a boss. You have to beat the boss.
So it's based on skill.
Exactly, and that's what's really cool. It really flips the game in a totally different way. And I actually think that for people who don't like Dark Souls, depending on why they don't like it, they can absolutely enjoy Sekiro. If they just don't like the difficulty, stay away. It's really hard. But if you don't like the slow pace of Dark Souls, you don't like the vague nature of Dark Souls, this is a lot clearer. I mean, it holds your hand a surprising amount. There are points where it literally will stop and just say, hey, by the way, you can jump off this building and stab that guy.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And one hit, like, they'll just tell you. They'll interrupt the game and just
tell you
tell you.
everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas that's something that you never see in a From Software game.
There's still things that are vague that you can miss. It's not that everything is laid out for you, but they definitely give you a tutorial like you've never had. There's even a practice mode there's a guy very close to the initial idol statue where he can always resurrect. So when you kill him, he'll just come back to life again, and you can try your counters against him. You can try just attacking him. You can try new moves you've learned. Excuse me. So it's very, very different than Dark Souls in a lot of ways. But you said like the soul is still there. No pun intended.
Yeah. Whoa! I think one of my favorite things about it too is an increased focus on stealth, which is they've like integrated the traditional Metal Gear Solid like. They have a yellow thing if they think they see you and they're going to explore, and then red if they do find you, and then they can forget that you're there if you hide well enough.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And then coming along with that is the traversal with the grappling hook claw, because there are
so
points
much fun.
everywhere you can just like zip up to a tree branch or to the roof of a building, and then you can sneak up behind somebody and kill them that way. It's like, I think that's a really cool new addition to Dark Souls. I mean, there's always been like you could move forward very slowly, sneak up behind somebody, and like stab them in the back really well. But
that would never kill them fully, depending on how much of a grunt they were. Some enemies that might just take out half their health or something.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot, and I'm in. I haven't fought a boss yet, but I'm 100% in, and I'm gonna say fuck Kingdom Hearts. I'm not really. I'm gonna play Kingdom Hearts, but god damn it, I'm gonna hate doing it.
But just a few more things I really, really love about this game is the dragon rot mechanic is just anxiety inducing. It's insane. So if you die enough times, you get a prompt that says someone has gotten this dragon rot virus, which means that they might die and you can't do that quest anymore. I've gotten those messages 4 times now, and apparently there's a way to cure everyone, but I don't know how to do it, and I feel like I'm just going to lose 4 side quests because I'm bad at this game.
So there's a mechanic where if you die, you might not have any consequences.
Yes.
There's a chance that you might not have any consequences, and it's based upon like your friends, like your NPCs that gather back at your home base, and then the more you die, the more likely they are to get this disease called dragon rot, which means they can no longer save you from not having any consequences. So the more often you die, the shittier the consequences are going to be for dying. So it's like punishing you for dying.
Snowball effect.
But I like this better, though, than Dark Souls 2, where it reduces your maximum health. That's more of an obnoxious
Yeah.
hindrance. This is like this. It feels like there's a consequence in the world, and that's a really cool feeling. Like I feel like when I die and I want to resurrect, it's because I want to help everyone, and in a way, like I want to make sure that no one else is going to die. That's a really cool feeling. Another thing I just ecstatic with this game, I have to go back in the combat system just a little bit, is the stance mechanic and how you're whittling down someone's stance. You're not trying to whittle down their health. You can if you want to, but they have a yellow bar that shows their stance, and basically it's their posture. Sorry, their posture, and you're trying to break their posture so you can go in for a death kill. And what I love about this mechanic is that if you whittle down their health more, it reduces the speed that their stance recovers. So if you whittle down their health, you can keep their you can break their posture much more easily, and that really comes into play with boss battles of, okay, like right now, should I go for getting their health, or should I be focusing on on countering them so I can build their stance back up? And it just changes how you approach certain enemies. Some enemies you really don't want to try to break their stance because it's going to be too hard. You want to whittle down their health instead. Like going after their stance would be, maybe there's a way to do it, but it just seemed like it was impossible, and I would just die every time trying. But I could whittle their health down, so it really changed how you approach situations in a really cool way that I don't want to like spoil for you as you kind of go through the game. It's just badass. It's incredible.
so
It's
good.
really good so far.
Obviously, if you're a fan of the Souls franchises, pick it
Yeah,
up.
you have to play this. Yeah.
It's required. Ryan, Matt, what questions do you guys have?
I've been seeing. Actually, this game kind of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't really know anything about it. I've never played any of the Souls games, none. So that's on me. But it does look interesting, and I'm interested to play a game of like this caliber. Ever since I played God of War, like I kind of like wanted more games like that type of like battle system. So because I don't really play games like that for the most part. You know, I mean Zelda really is like it, like like Breath of the Wild. Like and any of the other Zelda games. So, but I'm interested in playing. You guys are kind of selling it right now. You guys should work for the studio, honestly. It sounds pretty badass. And I still want to play the Souls games. It's one of those things. Like I keep saying, I'll get back to it. Who knows if I ever will? But this one, it's right in front of me now. It's brand new. Everybody's talking about it. Maybe I'll pick this one up.
Pick
Yeah,
it
it's really good.
up.
It'd be cool too, because I think a lot of what makes Sekiro difficult is an understanding of what how Dark Souls and Bloodborne should be played. So without that kind of prerequisite knowledge, I'm curious if that's going to make it easier or more difficult for you.
Okay.
Because you're seeing so many people who love Dark Souls having a hard time with it because they're trying to play it like Dark Souls.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe.
And you can't do it
knows?
that. You can't do it like that.
It sounds cool.
Ryan,
No.
what did you play this week?
So this week, funny. So for When Gaming, Matt and I both played Halo: The Master Chief Collection, and we ended up playing.
Ooh, is Reach out
Halo.
yet?
All
Not
of
yet.
them?
Not yet. No, so we played what was it, Halo 3 campaign, and we got
Yes.
through quite a few levels. And then
That's
once
the
we
only
kind of
Halo I've beaten.
Really?
yeah,
the
I've
only
only played the
one,
first
yeah.
one apparently because I loaded it up and that was one. So but that's more. You can probably listen to our podcast to get the backstory on that one. So I don't eat up time here. But we played that and then actually played the multiplayer, which actually was a lot of fun because you jump into it and like the first one we jumped into, I was like, Matt, this is like really shitty graphics. What is going on? He goes, oh, it's Halo 1. And I was like, why are we playing Halo 1 multiplayer? This is stupid. He goes, no, just wait till the next game. The next game was like Halo 3, and so the graphics got better. So you played like all the different types of Halos and the games, like, and so it was those maps with those graphics, and it just adjusted. It was actually kind of cool. It was a really cool concept. So I played that.
I didn't realize
and-
it would do that, like different, like jumping between different games, and you would see the difference in like, oh, this is what the first shitty game looked like. This is, well, not shitty, it was still a great game, but like graphics wise, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I played Kingdom Hearts 3. That's why I've played a lot of that recently, and I just beat. I'm playing it slowly, unfortunately, just because of time constraints. But I've just beat the Toy Box, which is a Toy Story world, and so that was a lot of fun. Childhood memories. You hear that music constantly playing in the background, and then something too. My daughter, she's almost 2 years old now, and we found my Woody and my Buzz doll that I had when I was a kid.
Aww.
And so she actually uses those. And so she loves them. But she was in here with me when I was playing one time, and she saw them, and she was like looked up at the screen and was like pointed at them and just was like in awe. Like, what these, like, they're not. I'm not watching. It was really cool. So
That's adorable.
yeah, dad life.
Hi, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Not what he says, but yeah. But yeah, that's what I played
That's
this
what
week.
the shark says when he pops up with Woody's hat on in the toy box.
Okay, that is that's true.
Matt, what did you play this week?
So, Master Chief Collection. I've been playing Apex Legends, the new Season 1 Wild Frontier. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. Even with my my clipped wing, I had hand surgery.
Yeah, tell the people what happened to you.
Yeah, so I had carpal tunnel surgery from playing so much Beat Saber.
Is that from a Beat Saber? That was it?
No.
I was about to say.
It's from a long
But isn't
history.
Beat Saber great? Oh,
It's
God,
from a
sorry.
long history of repetitive hand motions. We'll just say that. And so Apex Legends has been great. Well, I've also been playing Wolfenstein 2. It's one of my games that I've had on my shelf. I bought a year ago, and I'm like, and even then, a year ago, it was an old game. It was a year old, and I was like, I'll play this soon because the first one was awesome, and I finally got around to it. So I'm working my way through that.
And it was one of the best games you've ever played, and Holden should play it, right?
I knew you were going to say that.
Holden,
I knew you were going to say that.
Have you played either one, Holden?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they are incredible. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's the gold standard for shooters, like first person shooters. It's unbelievable. It really is a great game. The visuals, the story, the whole thing. And it's like, I was telling Ryan, it's like you're killing Nazis and they give you a real good reason for it. Not that you need a reason for it, but like it's awesome. Like it's just like great. It's just fucking awesome, man. And then also I started Persona 4 Golden on my Vita, which I had never played before. And I've never
Have you played Persona at all?
Never. Not once.
Okay.
But it's been recommended to me so many times that I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I'm like, I'm going to play it. I'm 2 hours in and I've yet to encounter a combat situation.
Yes. That's why.
Lord.
What is happening?
That is exactly why I stopped playing that game. I've said that on this podcast before. Like, in 2 hours, it's insane.
There's so much chit chat. I want to die. There's so much chit chat, and I don't want to skip through it because I don't know what I need and what I don't need because I don't know these games that well. I honestly am like I'm invested in playing it. I feel like when I play games on my Vita and when I play games mobile on my Switch, I can invest my time into them because I'm like, okay, when I'm sitting down on my couch, I'm playing Apex or I'm playing Wolfenstein, and like that's what I'm devoting my time to. But this is for different scenarios. When I'm in my bed, when I'm on the go or whatever. So I'm dedicated to playing this game. But I'm 2 hours in and I have not fought anybody yet. And I know that I'm reading everything, so it's taken me a long time, but I don't know. I'm not disappointed in it at all, but that's just where I'm at. 2 hours in, no combat.
Yeah, I was playing that game when I had a Vita back, 5 years ago or something like that now. And I came to the exact point you were at, and I told my friend, like, oh my God, I've just been reading text this whole time. When's the game going to start? And he goes, oh no, that's the game. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Well,
that's it.
I'll update you guys as I play, but right now I'm still invested in playing it because, like I said, I've been told so many times that I need to play Persona 4 Golden or any of the Persona games. So I'm starting here, and then we'll go from there. We'll see if I continue. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice. What a great segue into our fetch quests. What? Everyone talked, right? Everyone got to introduce what games they were talking. Yeah.
Have we talked about Sekiro yet? Have we talked about that game yet?
Yeah, we talked about Sekiro. Do you want to talk about it again?
Yeah, let's talk about it again. Let's do it right now.
No, but Persona 5R, the Royal, has been revealed. I just realized I put this in here earlier today without reading the rest of the notes, and now it's in here twice. I'll skip it. So yeah, there's a female protagonist in the new trailer. We don't know much about it. It's coming April 24th. Still PS4 exclusive. Nothing on Switch yet.
Yes, and we'll get more details on April 24th. So maybe we'll see.
Oh, more information on April 24th. The game's not coming April 24th.
Yes,
Gotcha. Cyberpunk 2077 dev working on secret unannounced game. Oh my god.
this is legit. This is 100% legit.
What? You mean that
CD
team that was
Projekt
working
Red-
on Witcher is not doing anything?
So yeah, they said they want to. This is an official statement. They said they want to release 2 games, like 2 massive RPGs by 2021. So within 2 years, we're going to get Cyberpunk 2077 and something else from them.
The Witcher 4?
Oh damn.
I don't think it's going to be Witcher 4. I think they've said they're done with that.
Oh, they're done with
So
it.
maybe
They-
they're going to have a
they're
sequel
done
to
with Witcher.
Cyberpunk a year after Cyberpunk comes out. Wouldn't that be a surprise?
No.
That's probably not
They're
what
gonna
it is,
have
though.
they're gonna have something. Cyberpunk's coming in May.
Exactly. When is Cyberpunk 2077 coming out? Because
Well,
I don't know if
yet.
you guys watched the trailer. Last time the trailer was, it was like coming when it's done, like when
Exactly,
it's ready.
yeah. That
And
totally
now
put
they're
the
saying
squash
2
on my
years
guess.
now, like by 2021. So they have two
But by-
years.
No. By 2021, we'll have 2 games.
Yes.
So
Yeah, well,
Cyberpunk
like,
will be one of them.
unannounced
but
game might be
first-
released this year, and then 2077 released in 2 years.
Yes, but originally the
shocking would
first
that
part
be?
was
That would
the
be
first
shocking.
part was that it's going to be that 2077 is going to be released by 2021, and then bullet point underneath it. Also, there's going to be a second game, unannounced game, released at the same time. The headline of the whole thing was that Cyberpunk 2077 was going to be released by 2021, and then they also had the second note of, hey, there's going to be another game as well.
Oh, damn.
That's what I read, at least.
Oh, Poe Dameron.
Here's the thing: is this maybe you haven't heard of it because it's a next
Thanks,
gen
Matt,
thing.
for laughing.
It comes out later this year, though.
Did it say later? It said later this year.
No, next gens. The next gens coming
Oh.
out
Yeah.
this year.
Coming later
But,
this year.
but we haven't.
Yes, Chad.
Fuck you, Holden, and the rest of the industry is coming this year.
We'll see what happens with Microsoft. But I'm not convinced about Sony.
Well, it depends on when Stadia gets released, because then what do you call that? Is that
Stadia's
next
coming
gen?
out this year.
They didn't say next generation; they say new generation.
There you go. You know, Chad's gonna win this bet.
Boom. Boom. Shaka Khan. Also coming out this year, Remedy is releasing Control this August 27th. That might be... I can't say that's my most anticipated game now that Sekiro's out, because there's a lot of other stuff coming as well. But anyway, very anticipated.
It looks cool.
God of War... It
does
does.
look
It
cool.
looks
Control
so
looks
cool.
pretty cool. I was a big fan of the Force Unleashed games, the Star Wars, the Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Big fan, and so that looks like that, and I'm excited for that. I want to throw some shit around.
These new videos that have come out, have sold me on it. It looks great. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get it for sure.
Yeah. God of War wins Game of the Year at Game Developers Choice Awards. Another fuck you, Holden.
I like that
Wild
game. It was
sucks.
in my honorable mentions for Game of the Year.
And whatever game. Oh, Hollow Knight sucks. I'm just kidding. Hollow Knight was great. That was your Game of the Year last year, though, over
It
God
was
of War.
great, even though it didn't come out that year technically, but on Switch it did.
You're right. It deserved it. It deserved every bit of it.
It's great.
Epic Game Store exclusive Metro Exodus. Okay, yeah. Sorry. For some reason I read Epic Games and I thought eShop. Epic Game Store exclusive Metro Exodus outsells previous game on Steam at launch. Unpack that for me. Why does
So
that
the
hurt my
same,
brain?
the same period of launch, the launch duration for Metro Last Light and Exodus.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus sold more than Last Light did.
Exodus sold more on Epic than Last Light did on Steam in that
Yes.
same window of time. Gotcha.
Yeah, Epic
Wow,
is
they
basically
worded
saying
that
this
poorly.
proves that people will go where the games are, not the store they want to buy from.
Okay.
Which is kind of a concept we'll return to later on in this discussion.
You son of a bitch. Why the hell did you put this Asari VCR in here?
Let's talk
You know,
about
it
it.
makes me
Hysterical.
furious.
Let's talk about it.
Because it's hilarious.
It makes me so mad.
It's so ridiculous.
Stupid fucking console.
It's so
Now,
dumb.
here's the thing.
I don't even know what it is.
Is this Atari
Oh,
VCS
Ryan.
is like Atari's pretend console they're trying to make that they keep delaying and putting off and not really promising anything about it. They're being super vague.
Almost no
But-
product information other than screenshots of what the box might look like.
Right.
Yeah, here's the thing.
It's
Is
important.
this a story for this week, or am I pulling a prank on you guys and this is a story from last year? And you're just not surprised?
Since I don't know the
Did
console,
we
I have
even
no
did
idea.
we even read the headline? The Atari VCS console has been delayed due to spec upgrade.
Well, the last I heard of it from last year was they never gave specs. So for them to say they're giving
No,
the
dude.
more powerful specs, I don't know what that means. So I mean, it has to be new.
All I know is that last summer you were able to pre-order it, and a lot of people did for some reason,
Yeah.
knowing nothing about it.
No, somebody good point. Why people pre-ordered that? Because this is going to be something that 50 years ago, I have an unboxed Atari VCS. Do you have a what? We're putting it in the museum.
It's gonna be the Ouya too. If you got an unboxed Ouya, that's like that. It's gonna be the same thing.
Oh, absolutely,
Yep.
yeah. Someone's going to laugh and be like, I'm a billionaire. I'll spend $500,000 on that. Absolutely.
I remember the big story they did on Kind of Funny with that. Like Greg put it in his calendar. He's like, there's no way July 31st, 2019 is like they're gonna, or whatever it was, is like this is gonna be out. He's like, I'm putting it in my calendar right now. There's no way. And I agree. Like last year, like I said, they didn't put out any specs, and now they're coming around 3.5 months before it's supposed to be in people's hands and saying they're giving it a performance bump. Hey, Atari, that's wonderful. Whoever's making this, that's great. This is not the time for it. Like next console, like let's nail this one and then give us a more powerful one, like down the road.
This has to be just a big
Oh, it'd be
scam.
like
There's nothing there.
Just keep pre-ordering.
This is fake block
God, it's big
from that terrible last season of Arrested Development.
Did you finish it yet, Chad?
No, I'm on episode like 13 and a half.
I think that's where I'm at. Oh, it's awful.
I just got to the point where it's
gets
literally
so
like
much
a
better.
3-minute
Really?
conversation with
Yeah,
Buster
I
and
love
Michael.
the ending.
What'd
And
you
it's
say,
a conversation with Buster and Michael, and Buster's...
Brian rolled
don't
his
see
eyes.
him.
You not a
I know,
fan?
right?
I tried the first season and no.
Okay. I
But
love
just it was like there was the two conversations, or I guess there was one conversation going on, and then Chad just talking, and
Yeah,
you
just
guys
me
just
shouting.
not listening to him at all.
Just shouting.
Sorry.
That's why I was like, there's just so much going on. I got one ear saying one thing, and the other ear saying another. So
Arrested Development is important. It's classic television. It's one of the best comedies of all time.
Speaking of best comedies of all time, one of the best games of last year is Quantic Dream's Detroit Become Human. Everyone should play it because you now have access to it if you have a PC. What? That's right. All these PlayStation exclusive games are now available on PC via the Epic Store for a year, and then coming soon to other platforms as well. Sorry, not platforms, probably PC stores, not like Xbox.
okay, yeah, I was curious because that kind of going back Persona. You know, everyone was thinking that Persona, this new announcement was going to be for the Switch or something,
Right.
but it's not. And then this one, Quantum Dreams, you know, they're allowed to release their stuff now PC, so that's no longer a PlayStation exclusive. I was
Right.
wondering what you guys thought of that, just real quick. Think that's a little weird? that
I'm very
they're-
happy.
You're happy? I've never played. Detroit Become Human is actually on my want to play list, and it's actually on my if I had a PS4 list. So
Yeah.
But you got that gaming PC, right?
no. This
You
is
got that
not a gaming
Lenovo
PC.
laptop, right?
Yeah, this is not a gaming PC by any means. This is a work computer that's not even technically mine.
Yeah. Probably don't play Detroit Become Human on that. But yeah, everyone should play that. And then Bethesda gives first details of its E3 2019 showcase. There will be an in-depth look with Doom Eternal. It will be on June 9th. They are maybe the only group that has confirmed a press conference so far this year.
EA has confirmed they're going to be there and have like
They
a
don't have
presence.
press conferences, though.
We're not going to have a press conference, but that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're not saying a presence. You're talking about press conferences specifically.
Yeah, that's why I said press conference and not presence.
Microsoft has confirmed, or they haven't confirmed their press conference yet. They just said we're
No,
going to
they
go
haven't.
big. They just said we're going to go big at E3. They just said what they're going to do at E3.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
And that's
point.
from the memo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, what if nobody goes
Investigative
to E3 but
reporter.
Bethesda?
Chad Dennis.
But Bethesda is going to get burned real bad this year. I feel like at E3. Like, I mean, not in person, obviously, but like on the internet's, Twitter and whatnot are going to roast them live. They need to come out and they need to just like state like, hey, Fallout 76, we kind of fucked up on that one. Like, here's
Yeah.
how we're going to fix it right away. Like, that's what needs to happen.
I can see Todd Howard doing that. He can pull that off, getting on stage and being like, "Hey guys, let me level with you."
Yeah,
He has enough. He has enough presence to do that.
definitely.
Is Rage 2 going to be out by then?
Yes, it will be.
Okay.
So they'll probably show up like a DLC for something like for that. But also, I'm curious: are they going to talk about Starfield at all? There, like, would they
Yeah.
bother talking about a Starfield yet? Like,
New
why would they just show
logo.
those?
You're showing new
Yeah,
logo.
they show a new logo. We
Just
revised
showing.
the logo, you guys.
We chose a different font.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob thought the A's looked a little weird, so that A looks a lot better. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I think it would really help their image if they showed a little bit of Starfield, something. I mean, anything. I don't know if they have anything prepared, but that would be
You
cool.
know, every single year I say, I mean, they don't have a ton to show off, and then they show off a ton, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
Because
and
it's
then I'm
not
thinking the
just-
same thing this year. It's like it's just Doom Eternal and those two games that they're not going to show off. I'm like, they're going to show something.
Well, it's also because it's not just Bethesda games. I mean, id Software is really who makes Doom Eternal. Bethesda's
Yeah.
just publishing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they publish a lot of games. That's why it's going to have more stuff.
They could probably have the Wolfenstein game, Youngblood,
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yes.
which I'm very excited for. And also, did they talk about Blades at all? Their mobile game?
Oh,
it got
yeah.
delayed.
They got delayed, right? Yeah, because it was supposed to
Yeah.
come out end of last year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe more of that if it's not already out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Woo! That wraps up our fetch quests, and we're going to jump into our third party shit. Now, this is kind of exciting. So, we got some Oculus news. First up, Oculus Rift's new headset receives price and release window. This is from Javi Gualtani. Javi G from Game Informer.
I think it's Gualtani.
What?
Gualtney? Is it Gualtney?
Sure.
Sure.
Walt Disney.
That's just mean.
So Oculus Rift S is coming in spring for $400. And it is made in partnership with Lenovo, speaking of Ryan's laptop from work, for comfortability. They're aiming to make it fit better on your head despite it actually being a little bit heavier. So it's going to be more comfortable to wear even though it's a little heavier. And increased resolution to 1280 by 1440 per eye. And then internal sensors for motion tracking rather than having to have external sensors tracking you as well.
That's going to be nice.
Yeah. And I think $400 is a good price point for what they've got right now, too.
Yep. So
and then we got this next one.
Oh, yeah.
Unstoppable Beat Saber is coming to Oculus Quest from Chris Carter at Destructoid. So if you have Oculus Quest, which is the wireless, completely like all-in-one, you don't need a PC for it, Oculus, Beat Saber's coming to it. And according to Greg Miller, who got hands-on at GDC, it is nearly flawless, and it's going to be great. And I'm so excited for everyone in the world to play Beat Saber.
Yep.
Matt got carpal tunnel from Beat
wait.
Saber.
It's true.
I have the platinum trophy in Beat Saber.
I was waiting to see how long it would take.
Ryan loves talking about Beat Saber, and Holden wishes he could play Beat Saber. Everyone loves Beat Saber.
I
I've
really
never
do want to
played
play
Beat
Beat Saber.
I didn't say you did. I said you love talking about it.
I don't like talking about
I'm
it
making
just
up
because
your
you like to
opinions
talk
for
about it. I know.
What's interesting about this, though, is that I don't know.
I'll be
I've
back.
never played. Okay, don't die.
I'll try.
On PSVR, it's the only place I've ever played Beat Saber. But the way that I use the Move controllers is I actually hold them from the bottom, and I use the weight of the controllers in my favor so that I only have to move my wrist a little bit, but it's like swinging the lightsaber a little bit more. So I use that to my advantage a lot. Whereas on Oculus Quest, like your hand is the controller almost, like wrapped in such a way that your wrist will have to move a lot more than what I tend to do on Beat Saber. So I might, if I ever play this on Oculus Quest, which I won't, it might take some getting used to. I don't know if I'll be as good at it.
But for Oculus Quest, Beat Saber, I feel like that is the system seller. Like that is going to be that's what's going to be on the box. Like they're going to show, here's what you can play, Beat Saber. You get
it's
it
a $299 Beat Saber machine,
right?
Yeah,
and for a lot of people, that's what a lot of people are waiting for. You don't have a computer that can play a normal Oculus Rift. You don't have PS4 that you can do PSVR with. Like here's your way into VR, and oh wait, it has the best, in my personal opinion, the best VR game right now going is Beat Saber. It's so fun. It's like it's life changing. Honestly,
I lied. It's $399. It's a $399 Beat Saber machine.
Still
it's worth it. It's worth
Wait,
it.
so the Oculus Quest is $399. Sorry, I don't know much about VR and all. So
yes, Oculus Quest standalone $399, and then Oculus Rift S is not standalone, but improved over the first one, also $399.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty affordable, to be honest. I was expecting the Quest to be like a $500 machine. To be completely honest with you.
For the wireless one?
Yeah.
It's not going to be the full Oculus experience, though. Like, it is going to be a lot more of the like mobile, lightweight kind of experiences that you're used to, like with Google Cardboard and stuff like that. But apparently now also with
it's cool.
Beat Saber and more expanded things due to the controllers. But you're not going to get the visual fidelity that you would from a regular Oculus.
Yeah.
It has the motion tracking
PC.
of a Rift, but the games could be the same depending if they can get it to run or not. Like Beat Saber.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. Number 3 on our third party. Apparently there's a rumor that GameStop 2.0, get that website right now while you can, GameStop 2.0 wants to become a, quote, cultural experience. This comes from Joshua Duckworth at Game Rant. I don't know much about this, but I'm in support of the one sentence that you've written here, Holden. The source is anonymous, incredibly vague in details. Quote, new kinds of stores, better membership programs, variations of power-up rewards, and an emphasis on gaming culture.
Yeah.
So we have no idea what it is, but I'm kind of curious what you guys would want it to be.
I got news for you. That source is Mr. GameStop going, hey, we want to make this a cultural experience. What do you guys think about that? And then it's
what is your reactions to it? If you love it, great, that was us. If you hate it, oh no, I don't know who that was. That was a lie.
I don't know. Like I still go into GameStop a lot. Like I go in and buy to get games a lot. Like like if I'm not buying a game digitally, I'm going into GameStop to buy, any of my hardware. If I'm buying controllers, I will go into GameStop. There's enough around me where it's easy and it's convenient.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be anything more than that, really. Better membership programs would be awesome. Like, that would be cool. Like, I'm an Elite Pro member. It doesn't really get me shit. Like, it doesn't really get me anything. It gets me Game Informer.
Yeah, I feel like if you buy used, it gets you a lot more than if you buy new stuff or hardware.
Yeah. Well, so I do buy. I mean, I went in there this weekend and they have a deal going right now for any used games, 4 for $20, for under $10, which is slim pickings. But I found a few games that I've been wanting to play that I can milk some trophies from. So I got those. But
milk those trophies.
I don't need the games to be any more. Like I said, like membership would be great. But really, gaming culture and things like that, they have some cool like tchotchkes and stuff in there. But I'm not going in there like buying T-shirts and stuff.
No, I found the article. I think you pulled this from Holden, and what I thought was interesting. It's one of the concepts that they were going to pitch is where it's more of a computer cafe type of situation where they're going to have TVs set up on a whole wall and all the different systems, and you go in there and like if you want to try, say if I wanted to go in there, I want to try Sekiro. I would go get it off the shelf, put it in whatever system I wanted to play it on, and I could play it there. I could demo it live right there. I thought that concept was really cool. I'm like, I could be down for that.
That's a great idea, and I think that'd be way better than to have the stupid GameStop TV that they have running in there instead.
Yes.
Like, that would be way better to have.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And I think that's kind of what hopefully they're going for, is making it an experience. It's the Starbucks
hangout.
model.
Yeah, it's got to be an experiential place that people want to go to be there rather than just a place to buy games.
They'll make money from featuring certain games like at their store. Like that's how they're going to make their money.
Yep.
Obviously selling stuff as well, but I mean they're going to have to change their model. With used games is going to just stop being a thing if streaming takes off,
especially with digital.
And the promise of Stadia. If the promise of Stadia is real and it does become as big as Google kind of wants it to be, and streaming becomes a primary way people to buy games, how does GameStop fit into that with their model? Their model is used games. Even if they were selling digital codes, which we'll get to that, even if they were selling like hardware, like is that enough? They have, like you said, they have to sell trinkets and T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer this approach than more bullshit signs, because GameStop needs a lot less signs. It just they need to change their thing up, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, they do have a new CEO. I don't know if you saw that in an article too. So
that is in there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a nice transition to a story we're going to kind of talk about. A lot of times people are like, oh my God, the digital future. What's going to happen to GameStop? And the rebuttal is, that's okay. They can still sell digital codes to these games physically in the store, but not from PS4. So switching to our Sony Quest log, retailers won't sell Sony PS4 digital game codes anymore. This actually comes from a leaked GameStop memo. This is from Sarah Fields at Game Rant. A leaked memo from GameStop regarding PlayStation digital codes says that as of April 1st, so that's in a week, no more digital codes at any online or physical retail store. That's not just GameStop. That is Walmart. That is Target. That is Best Buy. That is Amazon. That is, you cannot buy digital copies of PlayStation games at any of these locations.
You can still
buy gift cards, like for $50 of PSN credit, but I cannot walk in and buy a digital download code for God of War from a GameStop or on Amazon.com.
I don't see what the big deal is. I think this is not news.
Yeah,
I've never once thought to buy a digital code except to buy it from my PlayStation, or to buy, like, if I buy a digital game, I'm usually buying it from my PlayStation. Rare exceptions that Chad brought up, and we were talking about it before, is you want to get a sale on Amazon or something like that. But I mean, you get sales on PlayStation pretty often. I mean, it's not, I don't know. I just don't think this is a big deal. It makes sense. How does Sony make money off of printing those cards out and selling them to GameStop? I don't know. I just don't see where they make money in that.
No.
Well, I bought a digital game from GameStop before, and I came home, plugged the code into my Xbox, and all it did was load me with $50 or $60 on my Xbox, and then I had to go to the Microsoft store on my Xbox and buy the game.
Oh, really?
So I was like, "What?" I was like, "What's the point?" I was like,
"I don't think that's how it's intended to work."
No, but that's what it is. And I double checked, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's the code they gave me." And I re-put it in, and it's like it just loaded me with cash, and I was like,
"Yeah,
all right, I'm getting what I got. Like I'm getting what I wanted." So
So I think
But that's weird.
the big use case I see, I've used it a few times where like Amazon will have a sale for a particular game that I'm interested in, and I'm like, sale on the digital code for it. It's like, okay, cool. I'll get that instead of buying it from the PSN. Or if people like moms want to buy a digital download code for their kid or something like that, especially if like these new digital only, not disk drive future consoles are in the future. But I think what mostly this does is it monopolizes the digital space. Because before this, you had options of where you could go to buy a digital game, whereas now you can only go through PlayStation. And if we're all like thinking worst case scenario, that could then discourage Sony from having sales at all on their store. If they're the only place you can buy digital, there's no competition, then why would they even do that? I don't think that's going to happen.
That's not, there's still
But would they lower the
competition.
price then?
I don't think they'll do that because, I mean, yeah, you're right. There's no digital competition for them. But if people know there's never going to be sales, and it turns out there's a sale $40 for whatever new PlayStation exclusive it is, they'll just buy the physical version if they're a price-conscious consumer. So they do have that competition still.
What if you don't have the option for physical though? Like whole digital feature.
Well, I think the next console is going to have discs. I'd be surprised if PS5 didn't have a disc drive. So I think that's a little bit farther out than.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and it's that we're probably talking like late next decade.
Yeah,
that'll be an issue. So we'll
One
we'll
more
see. It just depends how
nail
things
in the
evolve by that
physical
point.
store coffin.
Yeah, but again, though, would it drop the price though? Now that they don't have a competition, even if it's say a multi-platform game, if it's $60 on my Xbox but $50 on the PlayStation, is that going to bring more people over to the PlayStation?
They've
And they won't-
experimented with dropping prices on digital products in the past. I think it was PSP, or maybe it was PS Vita. It was one of the two. Like when it launched, if you bought it digitally, you saved like $5 on it or something like that. But that didn't last very long. I don't know why. But I think we even saw this with like the Epic Game Store. And what game was it where it was $50 on Epic, but it was
Metro.
$60 on Steam? Was it Metro?
Yeah, Metro.
Or not?
No,
Yeah.
it was Metro.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of a dent or impact that made, but it's something people are trying. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'd be surprised just because the value of the game is $60. People are already willing to buy games for $60. They'll make more money now. They'll try to get away with it first before
They'll try to get away with it.
Yeah.
But I think, like
Yeah.
you said, most people are okay with that because they don't really look at it and say, okay, well, what's the cost of the casing and the artwork and all that stuff. And that's something actually Matt and I brought up on time is once you go digital, what's the real need for cover art? You really don't need all that much. It's just a logo. That's all
Just
you
a
need.
thumbnail. Yeah.
The thumbnail. And so you kind of lose that little artistic stuff. That's kind of like I'm looking at my Kingdom Hearts 3 in front of me, and it's just the cover art. It's awesome. It's that's pretty cool. So
That is pretty
it's a
dope.
piece of art. It is. So
Sekiro has a pretty good icon for the digital copy. Their icon's pretty cool.
Did you get the free dynamic themes with it too?
I did. I haven't used them yet, though.
Oh, well, they're pretty cool.
I had something to say about the digital stuff, and now I get distracted because I thought about Sekiro. So we'll just move on.
All right, moving on. Death Stranding hits a, quote, critical phase as Kojima plays the game, quote, every day on PS4. From Vicky Blake at Eurogamer, this is a tweet from Hideo Kojima, quote, Death Stranding is not yet in difficulty adjustment or debugging stage, but combining all the parts made in different tools and development machines into one game. It's a process to connect the parts to fix the operation, feelings, the production, the specifications, the trouble, and to strip the flesh and make changes while I play the game directly every day on PS4. Critical phase. I think this is kind of in direct contrast to a story we read a couple weeks ago that was like, it's having trouble in a conceptual phase or something like that.
No, they just said that they were slightly behind schedule, not by much.
Behind
they're just
schedule.
Slightly behind schedule. Yeah.
So it sounds like they're very much in the polishing phase, like polishing difficulty, polishing all this kind of stuff. Sorry, not yet difficulty, but production, how it feels, all that kind of stuff. I still think this game could come this year based on that.
No, so actually there's something else in there as well that was that it's still not one whole piece yet. They still have the game in like separate... Oh, they did mention that in here, actually. They have the game in separate parts.
Yeah.
They need to put it all together. That's... I don't know. I think next year. I still think next year. I don't think it's happening
like,
this year.
How many pieces could it be in? Is it like a 500-piece puzzle? I could do one of those in like an hour.
500 levels sounds like a lot.
Do you think putting it together is just remembering what sequence things are supposed to go in? Because that's easy.
No, but then once you put those things together, it's all right. How smooth is that transition? There's things to consider once you have it together like that.
And then you got to Mod Podge it so it all stays together and you put it in a frame.
Lots of stuff.
Have you ever written code, Chad?
Nope.
Ever? No. Okay. Yeah. It's not as easy as a puzzle.
Yeah.
I think it
saying.
does.
And they can put
it
two
involves
levels
a lot of
together, then
Mod
realize like, oh shit, this doesn't work. And
Well,
you
the
have
first
to
company that
go
makes
We use a
coding
different
language that
variable.
is as easy as a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then we've got. Oh, we've already mentioned this earlier, but yes, PlayStation will hold a Nintendo Direct style show on Monday from Tom Phillips at Eurogamer. It will be held at 2 p.m. Pacific time. It will have already happened by the time you're listening to this. It's going to cover PS4 and PSVR software, and it will be out Monday. Great. I'm very. It's called State of Play is the name of the show. Which, okay, name, cool. It's as good a name as Nintendo Direct or Inside Xbox, but
Yeah, sounds good enough. I'm just really hoping for Last of Us Part 2 release date.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see anything near that big.
Damn.
It's the first one. They want to have a splash. But then I said the same thing about Xbox's Inside Xbox
Yeah.
event, and they didn't do anything.
Don't overhype
see.
it.
And they don't have enough. Remember, that's
They're
why
going to talk
not
about
E3.
PS5, definitely, okay? Because it's coming this year.
PS5 release date. Well, they've got to talk about it soon if it's coming
I mean,
out
they
this
said
year.
upcoming PS4 and VR software, probably because they're tricking us. That's definitely
it.
what it is. Yeah.
That's it. We're going to take a break real quick and talk about our sponsorships, but we don't have sponsors because we're babies. We're sexy babies, so we wear bikinis to our debutante ball. I'm 5 years old. I'm a sexy baby. No, we sponsor you guys. And we do this in the form of a few different things. One of them is our participation trophy. Whoa! Oh my God, I can participate? Yes, you can. And in fact, you have 4 opportunities in March. This is number 3 that we're about to announce and announce the winner for, and number 4 that we're about to announce the competition for. Holy crap! So, last week in March, we had you guys tweet out to us and say, "I want from Respawn Aim Fire." And then something you want for us to do in 2019. And 9 of you gave us your ideas about what you want from us. And we're so very happy. And almost every single piece of it aligns with what we were already thinking ourselves. So I'm very happy to hear that we are very in tune with our community. So 9 people. We are about to pick a number between 1 and 9. Can I get a drum roll, please? Hey, Siri, pick a number between 1 and 9.
That's all I got.
5. 1, 2,
Very
3,
good.
4, 5.
I did
J.E. from at Pound. He's not from at Pound. He's from... His thing is at... J.E., you win! $20 to the gaming service of your choice. You guys have one more week of March to participate. Another $20 gift card to whoever wins that one. This week, we want your help building a community of really cool people just like you. We love interacting with you. We hope your friends are cool too. So we want you to help us build that up. So start your tweet this week with I recommend at Respawn Aim Fire. Tag a friend who you think would really identify with us and really enjoy our content. And then let them know why. And then, of course, use hashtag birthday trophy because that was so much easier than participation trophy. No more Donald Trump tweets. Yeah, do that out. We love you guys. We want your friends to be our friends too. Look on our Twitter on our pinned tweet. Because I'm going to make it our pinned tweet later tonight, so look at that for this one. Would you look at that? You know what I say to that? You guys seen that video?
No.
You haven't seen that? I'll send it to you after this. You know what I say to that? I say, would you look at that? Anyway. Next up, we have hashtag thanks for creating. Shut up, me. Last week, this is International Women's Month, so last week we did thank your favorite female actor. The actor who portrays a female in a video game. This week, we're going to do thank your favorite female video game content creator. That could be a ton of different people. That could even be Matt's Baby Ass Baby Mode What's Good Games shirt for any of those ladies on that show. That could be a ton of people as long as they are or identify as female. Next up, our bar for the month is Kingdom Hearts. I've yet to buy it. Holden is still probably playing it.
Yep.
We have through the end of April. It's going to get done, I promise. And I might love it. That's an option. And then E3 predictions. Guys, right into us. We're coming up very, very soon on our kind of like general early E3 predictions. It's going to be a big one, possibly new hardware launches. So
Definitely.
write in about what your next-gen predictions about E3 might be, and we will see how they align with ours and read them on the show.
I just dropped something. I don't know if you guys heard it.
I totally
I
saw
saw you
your
reach
facial
for it.
reaction.
Oh, God, that's so many words I just said. Our last thing is actually going to take us into our main quest here in a second. Ryan's subscriber interrogatives. We have Orion on the show. The Ryan. Orion's belt is around the cat's neck. We have one.
That's the most random Men in Black reference.
I love it, though.
But you saw the logical progression of how I
yeah.
got there.
You're good.
Totally saw it. It worked. It clicked. That's amazing. It's so random, though. Chad, you're
Dustin
incredible.
Hill at Dustin Hill wrote in and asked us this. Ryan, will you read it? This is the first time people will have seen a Ryan's interrogative in Ryan's voice.
Okay.
No, Chad, this is you saying it, though, right? This is you do the impression.
Oh, right. This is going to be my impression of Ryan. Ryan, go.
Hey, Respawning Far, with Google Stadia announced, what kind of support will it bring to mobile gaming? Will, like, Pokemon Go have a new robust battle system that can give access via the network?
That's a good impression, Chad.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well done,
That's
Chad.
tough on my throat.
Hopefully you can do it next week, too.
Yeah, we'll
Hold you
see.
to it.
So thank you, Dustin, for writing in. I honestly think I have two different opinions about this. One, it will have absolutely no effect at all. Mobile gaming will remain mobile gaming. You'll play Bejeweled, whatever you want on your phone, and it will have no effect from Google Stadia at all. I think that's the most likely scenario as well. And then the other option I see is that Google Stadia becomes the standard, and then nothing goes to the App Store because they might as well put it on Google Stadia and get more money, and Apple loses out on all that revenue, and iPhone fails. But everything
Likely
becomes
the
Google
iPhone will
Stadia
fail.
because
It's very,
everything
very
is a mobile
likely.
game.
If that happens, iPhone is blocking that shit. Stadia is getting blocked on the iPhone. That is not happening. No way. Apple will not stand for that.
But yeah, I mean, whether it's Peggle or whether it's Assassin's Creed, there's not really a line anymore between what is a mobile game if you can play it on your phone no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have any effect on like Pokemon Go because they're not going to migrate all the way over to Google Stadia and then just have the same experience in a browser.
But maybe there could be something where they say, hey, we're going to allow you to offset some of the processing to Stadia. That way you can do crazy things with AR you couldn't do before because you're going to rely on some of that processing power up there. Then maybe they could do some crazy things with Pokemon Go. That's more like an API than it is access to like Stadia directly from your phone.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be... You won't be able to access a lot of those sensors and things like that from Chrome. Like, for AR and all that kind of stuff, you won't be able to do
What
that.
I'm saying is Pokemon Go will implement an API in their app on iPhones, on Android devices, that lets it tap into the Stadia servers to process certain elements of that game outside the phone. So they could do more than what's on the phone's processor.
And then
So it's
Google's
not-
going to let that happen outside of Chrome?
Would it be just be its own app?
It would be an API. It would be tools that Google gives out to developers, just like they do right now.
I see what Chad's trying to say.
There are cloud tools that Google APIs that you can bake into an iOS app, so you can have access
But it's
to
not,
like,
it's
Google
not going
Drive
to
and
be
things
Google
like that.
Stadia, though.
No. What I'm saying is that
Okay.
they might allow developers to say, "Hey, we'll let you utilize some of our technology, so you can tap into those servers and maybe it's going to tie in through achievements or something like that with Stadia. I don't know, but they could feasibly do that. That could improve the
Gotcha.
performance of the games. I'm just saying it's a hypothetical. But
Yeah, I think
they
more likely,
absolutely
though,
could
just
do
nothing's
that.
gonna happen.
Google wants to be everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, API, that's totally... I just thought you were trying to say, like, Pokemon Go will have Stadia, but it's not going to be legit in Stadia.
No. It just have
definitely
access to the servers for Stadia to help it with processing power. Just like Microsoft's whole promise of the cloud and processing from the cloud to enhance your games on Xbox One, just like that. Which, actually, we'll talk about that as we get into Google Stadia stuff.
Oh, my God. I'm going to let you lead that discussion because my face is tired.
Absolutely. So We've talked about Google Stadia already in our kind of side quest episode, but I wanted to talk about kind of the aftermath of the week. Now that we've seen a lot of this stuff, Phil Spencer has made a comment on it. We have little tidbits like we have access to the Xbox adaptive controller through Stadia, which is pretty cool. So I want to talk about a few of this stuff, including actually a video from Digital Foundry that just kind of goes through some of the specs and what they think. It's all... We still need a lot of information, obviously, on the Google Stadia, but I think there's enough that's very intriguing about it. Really quickly, though, for our listeners that have not listened to When Gaming, because you have talked about it already in your podcast, but what are your kind of views on Stadia? How do you guys feel about it?
Ryan, you want to go? You want to go first?
No, go ahead, Matt.
So
Go ahead.
I'm a big fan of Stadia, and I think it really is like we talked about it on When Gaming, and we were like, this is going to be a moment that press conference is like a moment in gaming where you'll remember that, like, going forward. You'll remember, like, oh my god, remember when they released the controller that connects to Wi-Fi instead of Bluetooth, and it like changes the game, and you can switch between your phone, your TV, Chromecast now will support your games. It's just like a totally different way to play, and the way they're selling it and the way that it's supposed to work, if it does work the way it's supposed to, they're saying, even close to it, it changes the way you play games. 100%, that hard stop. That's it. Like, it changes the way games are played. It changes the way games are developed. It changes the way you interact with games, interact with other people playing games, how you play with your friends. One of the cool little tidbits from Stadia was I was always bummed that couch co-op, kind of went, like, traditional couch co-op where, like, you'd sit down with an N64 and play with 4 friends kind of went away. But it made sense because they were talking about what kind of processing power that takes over two. Like, if you're playing 2 people on one screen, that's 2 iterations of that game. That's really pushing the processor on the system, which makes total sense. Mm-hmm. Now with this, where you can make, you can play 4 people on one screen, maybe even more. I don't know if you want to fit more than 4 on a screen, but like they have, each one has their own dedicated server, dedicated state iteration. I forget what they were calling it, like for that game, for that instant. So totally changes that. I think that it's awesome. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that some of that couch co-op split screen is some of my favorite things that they showed there. Like, what you can actually do with this technology, other than just saying, yeah, it's a supercomputer running your game. Like, no, we have cool features that are enabled by that.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that adorable little girl.
Sorry, my daughter had to come say night to me.
Can I tweet my thanks to her as gaming personality now that she's officially been on a podcast?
Yeah, wave? Little wave? No, okay. Nope, she doesn't want to read you guys.
Rejected, Chad. No, you cannot feature her on Twitter.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so I think everything Matt was saying, the big part was community. My favorite part, I think it was called the crowd. Actually, I have our notes from our episode. What would you call it? Dang it, where is it?
Crowd play, I think it was called?
Yeah, crowd play or something where you can jump in.
Yeah.
And crowd play where you can jump into the streamer that you're watching. I thought that idea was incredible just because it kind of tied into what Matt and I are trying to do. We're trying to do this podcast, this content creation of we're playing a game, but we want to build a community. And so, you get the bigger streamers, it's going to be a little different, but I still think that concept of I'm watching somebody and, oh, hey, they're playing, I think the example they gave was like NBA 2K. Mm-hmm. I'm going to play with them, and you just kind of hop in the queue and you just wait to play, and you're playing like one-on-one little matches against, some of the top streamers in the world, and I think that's a really cool concept. Yeah. So I think streaming is just streaming on Twitch and streaming video games is just the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That example, the NBA example, I picture like a big streamer, someone that streams NBA, like doing holding a 3-point competition one night. And so they get in a game and they're doing just the 3. You can go in the All-Star events and you can play just the 3-point competition. And that's quick. I mean, you can get that done in 5-10 minutes, and then you unleash you open up the queue to everybody, and everybody can just jump in and play and see who can knock off the master or like whatever. See how close people can get to beating that person. I think that's cool. That's really cool.
What happens when someone just joins your queue and just starts shouting racial slurs?
Oh, I think you got to control. The chat there. Definitely. I don't know if that's something you just want to leave open.
Well, I guess it's the same idea as. I guess for big organizations, there's a way to do this, but radio shows, you have listeners just call in. What's to stop someone from just yelling racist things there.
The dump
I think
button.
people who vet. Well, I think people, I think people who vet beforehand, so like bigger organizations will have a way to kind of like cue people in, talk to them beforehand, and then send them off. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be curious too to see like if you have to vet people not only like that way or like and also by connection strength, like going by like people get sorted by internet and things like that. That would be something totally different, but on the same same kind
You
of
could do an Uber star rating style of thing where everyone gets a rating. So if you have a bad experience with somebody, you give them a bad rating, and then it's a cumulative rating of that person. Yeah. So it'll match people with 1 stars like Uber does.
Yeah.
Or at least used to. I don't know if they still
Uber's
do it.
doing that. Lyft does that. China's doing that as well.
That's right. China's doing it.
China is doing that.
There's a social rating system.
Yeah.
That's an episode of Black Mirror, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, nosedive. Good episode.
So...
Yeah. Digital Foundry went through the performance, and there's a lot of stuff here. I mostly want to focus on the latency part of it. Maybe one of you guys can explain one aspect to it, because I actually didn't fully understand it. But basically, he was guys at Digital Foundry were comparing the latency of Google Stadia versus Project Stream when Project Stream was out, but also PCs on 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, and then an Xbox One X. So the latency on Google Stadia was 166 milliseconds, and I'm just going to compare it to Xbox One X for most of this. Xbox One X was 143 milliseconds. So they're actually very, very close in terms of response time with the controller, which is huge. Obviously, there's a difference there, but I don't think that's going to be a massive enough difference to matter. If you're getting 79 milliseconds on a PC, 60 frames per second, and Xbox One X at 143 milliseconds is not seen as a gigantic disadvantage if you're to do like crossplay or something like that.
Right.
Obviously, there's a competitive edge if you're really, really good. For most people, that's not going to matter. I think that 23 milliseconds is negligible. I think that's fine. But then they mentioned this, and maybe you guys can explain this. When you're compensating for display lag, Google Stadia and Xbox One X are both at 166 milliseconds.
Yeah, so this is what I believe they're getting at is the delay between you pressing the button and that happening in the game is 143.
Yeah.
And then there's an extra lag between the Xbox and the TV. So depending on what display you're hooked up to, how quick that refresh rate is.
Yes.
That's what the extra lag
And
is
I'm
for.
assuming they're saying that because Google Stadia is just always going to that server, it doesn't really change anything. However, Project Stream did have a different... That went from 179 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds when they accounted for display lag. So I'm not sure if they changed something in the meantime, but I thought that was interesting. But the crux of this is that display input, input lag is probably not going to be a huge issue.
Yeah. No, definitely
it doesn't seem like it's going to be, and that's awesome to hear because that was a big concern of mine. The fidelity, from what we're hearing, can kind of waver a little bit depending on your connection. But that's a positive.
Even when I played Project Stream for me was input lag was not really a hindrance at all. That's not what I had issue with. I had issue with the stream itself and the quality of the video that I was seeing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But didn't testers at GDC say that there were issues with the lag? And they were playing Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, on Doom Eternal, I heard. That
Doom Eternal?
Yeah, it was basically, I think one of the headlines was like, it's not perfect, but it's not ruinous, is the term that they use. Like, it works, but it's not it's not better than a console.
In the GameSpot article we referenced too, they said that it was more noticeable on mouse and keyboard than it was on controller, because controller you're already used to a little bit more lag anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's just if you're super sensitive to that and you're used to that immediate response time.
Which those people have PCs and they wouldn't consider Stadia anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had a huge argument with my coworker about that last week. So,
yeah, I wouldn't even if I was going to play Stadia, I'd probably mouse and keyboard wouldn't be my way to go for it. It would always be that. Right. It would always be the Google Stadia controller. That would be the way I'd play it. And the way I play Xbox One X, that doesn't bother me at all. Not in the least. So I'm cool with that.
Well, good thing that we learned that pretty much at launch of Google Stadia, you pretty much will have the option of keyboard or Google Stadia controller. You won't much, unless you're playing on a PC with an Xbox controller. It's not like you can connect your Xbox controller to a Chromecast to play. You have to play with the Google Stadia.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's going to expand as more platforms jump on board. But
and Mad Cats will have their controllers as well.
Mad Cats.
No, remember? Oh no, Mad Cats went bankrupt and then they came back. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Mad Cats will never die.
I think the most interesting piece of all the stories we have here at Stadia, we'll skip the first-party stuff for right now, is Phil Spencer talking about Stadia and his kind of comment.
Yeah.
There's a long memo here, but I kind of highlighted what I thought were some of the big stuff there. He said, there were no big surprises in their announcement, although I was impressed by their leveraging of YouTube, the use of Google Assistant, and the new Wi-Fi controller. Google went big today, and we have a couple of months until E3 when we will go big. We have the content, community, cloud team, and strategy. As I've been saying for a while, it's all about execution. So he doesn't seem too worried.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. He did
I think
mention
the heart of his letter was mentioned, like in the first paragraph too, where it says, "It was nice to see validation for what we've been working on the last 2 years."
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess my thought is, because I'm reading this going, they know something. Like, they have something else. And I
Yep.
wonder how much the integration of streaming and console is, how important that's going to be. Like, I was thinking about things like loading times and how there's no loading times at all on Stadia. However, it's not going to look as nice, and the console will look better. But you could utilize streaming to reduce the loading time while you're loading in the rest of the game, and then just kind of hand off to the console version.
Yeah.
Like, things like that, where they could really play with that in an interesting way that Stadia wouldn't be able to do. It wouldn't replace Stadia, because I think that there's going to be something to be said for not having to buy a console and just buying a $60 game if you just want to play one game, like NBA or something like that. But I wonder how much we're not considering about how they can leverage Nextbox and this system.
Yeah.
And that's why they kind of have to talk about I kind of said earlier I think that they're going to talk about xCloud primarily this year, then release the next consoles next year. But maybe they have to talk about it at once because they're kind of related in a way, that they want to show it off as kind of one big piece.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think with what you were saying, I think Google's in a good position. Microsoft is in a good position to kind of be like, oh yeah, like what Google's doing is great, guys, but don't worry, we're not taking away your consoles. Like here's what we have, and we're also integrating this, and the good things about that are going to come here. And it just like, Google can be like the daring older cousin, like Xbox can be like, hey, listen, like here's the you're still because when I looked at the Google Stadia stuff on Twitter and in comment sections on websites, everybody was like, no thanks. Like a lot of people, not everybody, were saying like, no, I'll stick to my PC, my mouse and keyboard. I'll stick to my console and sit on the couch, whatever. And, so like for those people, hey, listen, like we're not taking away your stuff here, but here's how we're gonna make things. Like we're gonna move to the future. Here's the next step for us.
Yeah, I think Stadia is more for non-gamers. I think it's the gateway gaming system that'll kind of get you in the door because it is accessible no matter where you are. Yeah. With Xbox, you like Xbox and PlayStation, they have their fanboys and the people who are very strict of PlayStation or Xbox, and then you have that now divide of because PlayStation overtook Xbox, you have people who have both consoles. Yeah. Who's really going to go and buy whatever it's a subscription or however the pricing method for Stadia is? It's another one to add on top of it. So I think that Xbox has that advantage of we have the community already, and we have loyal community. There are people like myself. I have an Xbox. I don't have a PlayStation, even though I want a PlayStation just to play with more people to expand my library. But yeah, when it comes to a game, I'm going to buy it on Xbox if I had either.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to work in Microsoft's favor for so many people. And to kind of extend that, Microsoft's ready for this because they have the internet infrastructure. I think I mentioned that Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are the three companies that have the internet infrastructure for this. Anybody else who wants to get into game streaming is going to be getting servers from them. Yeah. So Microsoft, Google, and Amazon will always have the competitive edge because they'll know their servers better than anybody else. Always, every time. Yep. So they're set for this. How does it impact Sony? Can Sony compete on that level? They'll never be able to.
No.
And I think that's really interesting. That
it is.
Like, I'm not setting a doomsday scenario for Sony. They'll make it work. They have a lot of money. They'll figure it out. But how long is it going to take them to figure it out? I don't know. And it's a big undertaking.
Or do they just pull a Nintendo and blaze their own trail?
Right. Yeah, totally. I was kind of thinking about it too.
Completely different route.
Yeah, they kind of become like, and I don't mean this in a derogatory sense because I see Nintendo the same way, but as like a second tier console. Like Sony kind of becomes a second tier. Like, I go to Sony because I love Uncharted and I love The Last of Us and I want to go to those experiences. Right. But the real consoles are the Xbox and the Stadia and whatever Amazon calls theirs. Probably just Prime.
Or Walmart. Walmart, Walmart's going into streaming business.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh man, that's hysterical. I didn't know they had a gaming computer line.
Do they really? What is it called?
I didn't know that either.
I do know that they had. Good.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
But I do know they have a streaming video service already.
Voodoo,
So they have that, and they've had it since 2010, I believe.
I wonder if we'll see with all of this. You know how we have like mobile gaming, handheld gaming, and console gaming. I wonder if we're still just going to have console gaming, streaming gaming,
like a new
and mobile game. Like if it's just going to be a new section, and console's still going to stick around in its traditional form as it absolutely would, but then like there are streaming partners, and Sony's not one of them.
Phil Spencer has said as much. I mean, he basically said that streaming's not replacing consoles; it's just another tier of it. It's like saying, "Well, PC gaming is so much better than consoles. Why would anyone do that?" Because someone's willing to invest more money, a few $100s, to get what they think is a better experience.
I think this is exactly like 10 years ago when the App Store launched, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, mobile gaming's the future. No one's going to be playing on consoles anymore." And then no, it's just like fucking something people do on the train. And then that's exactly how I feel about this now. It's like, "Oh my God, this is launch of the iPhone. This is Google Stadia. It's going to be amazing. This is the future. Everything's..." And then no, it's just another way to play games.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped as fuck for it. And I don't know any of the hardware stuff or how that's going to make it happen. And unlike Phil Spencer, I didn't see any of this coming. So all of it's a surprise to me. And I'm just so good. Like, you saw me on the side quest. We started out with me acting like a fucking pterodactyl because I was so excited. I can't fucking wait for E3.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
So exciting.
And I'm very curious how much they're going to talk about just third party, if they can mention anything first party at all. That's going to bring us like the next story. So segue there. A Google executive, Phil Harrison, who's kind of brought on to lead a lot of the stuff, said that he was really pressuring Google into ensuring they had first-party support. One of the big reasons for that was we need to demonstrate the hardware to show people, developers, how to use this hardware and what kind of things they can do with it. That's the importance of it. You need showcase items. And that's something that wasn't at this event. And I'm curious if it's... Because it's still new. Like, what, they got Jade Raymond... I mean, they just announced it a few weeks ago. They probably had her for a little while now. How long has Phil Harrison been? I don't even remember. But not long, like probably a year or two. They don't have anything first party. So I'm kind of curious how that shapes, because this is a little bit different than... You want the first party for the launch to talk about the new hardware. And they don't have that. I'm very curious.
I don't know if that's as important right now. No. I think it will be important to have first party games on this service, but I don't think that's important.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that Phil Harrison has said that it's very important. Yet they didn't have that to show off. So are they going to mention anything at whatchamacallit, at E3 in terms of like games they've bought to be exclusive and things like that? They can't show off as like their own game. Like, it's not first party, but it's like their own game.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious how much of that we're going to see.
Like a Quantic Dream or a MDHR Cuphead, exclusive.
Exactly.
Exclusivity, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious for that as well, because we didn't really hear anything about that at all.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious.
No, we didn't hear. We heard a lot of big talk, but nothing down into the weeds.
Yeah, but it was also a developer event.
It was, but even developers need to understand what specs, and specs came out after the fact, after the press conference of how many, what's your internet speed actually to run it. So that kind of came out later.
Yeah, we know it's 25 megabits per second down for 1080p, but we don't know what it is for 4K yet. They were kind of vague on that one. They just said, if you can stream 4K YouTube videos, then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Which I don't know the math behind that, but that seems crazy to me.
It'll be interesting. Yeah.
Dope. Well, the future is in the future. And right now we have two great guys on our show with some great topics that they brought for a segment we call We're So Fucking Humble, because Holden and I are going to take a backseat and let you guys drive the show for a bit. So I'm going to start with, I've already forgotten both your topics, so I can't choose a favorite. Let's choose Matt's topic. Matt, did you bring something to discuss for We're So Fucking Humble?
I did. So I want to talk about game difficulty. Last week, for the first time, I watched this documentary called King of Kong: Fistful of Quarters. Are any of you guys familiar?
I've
heard the title.
Okay, so
it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's about the competitive. Oh, it was about competitive arcade game playing. So it was filmed in 2005, but it's really about the history of like Donkey Kong and Centipede and all those games and all the people that were high score champions and the starting of Twin Galaxies, which is the scoreboard for video games, and it's recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. And so anyway, it's a great documentary. It's got the greatest villain in anything I've ever watched in Billy Mitchell, who was in the news last year because of all of his scores came up as fraudulent, which was like, it's like after watching this, I'm like, oh my God, he's such an asshole in this, like such a great villain. Like I'm talking like he is like Darth Vader levels of like villain. Like he is just like a terrifying, like just, he's awesome, Billy Mitchell.
The part where he like picked the guy up while choking him and threw him across the room was crazy.
Yeah,
just
and
like
then you had
Darth
that
Vader.
badass lightsaber scene at the end of Rogue One.
Right, just like that. Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
He has this amazing mullet. Enough about Billy Mitchell. So I was watching that and I'm thinking about like what these guys are doing is nothing short of amazing. Like these games, old arcade games, old games in general, very difficult. Especially when you're dealing with a thing where it's like not beat the game, it's, indefinitely play the game for a high score. And a lot of times where you're not continuing, you're not just like starting over and keep playing. When I started playing Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, I played because I wanted to play the game. I played the first one on Xbox, and I 100%ed it. I got 1,000 gamer score. And I was like, oh, for the second one, like that was fun to do. Like I'll do it on PlayStation so I can get a platinum. I'm a platinum chaser. I'm a trophy chaser.
Yeah.
I'm a trophy chaser. So I was like, I'll get the platinum for it. I started playing it. I immediately played on the hardest difficulty. It's what I did on the first one. But the platinum trophy requires you to not only play it on the hardest difficulty, but you got to play through it once on the hardest difficulty, and then it unlocks a harder difficulty, which is the same amount of difficult, but it's permadeath. So you only have one chance to play through the entire game, and this is just like a bullet hell. Like it is going to be very tough if I even do it. So I'm at the point where I'm like, do I just give up and just play the game as much as I can and just like get all the trophies except for that one, which would kill me inside. It's destroying me a little bit now. Or like at what points do you guys like not give up on a game, but like stop playing for those like additional goals, or even like in a scenario where you're playing a game and like this is just I can't play through this game. It's just too tough. So I don't know. Whatever you guys think about that.
So I normally, whenever I'm in the context of trophy chasing, I normally start a game by playing it on normal. I play the game for fun to interpret it as the developer wanted me to interpret it. And then as I'm playing through it, maybe halfway through or three-quarters, I start to check the trophy list. I'm like, how attainable is this platinum trophy? And I go and look, and I'm like, if it requires like 6 playthroughs, I'm like, fuck that. No, I'm not going to do that. If it's like with the exception of the Uncharted games from the PS3 era, where you did have to play through it a ton of times. But if it is something that's like abhorrently difficult, like playing with permadeath on the hardest difficulty in a game that's already notoriously difficult, like that's to the point where I'm no longer having fun with it. Mm-hmm. And I think if there's one or two things that cause me some distress that like overall I'm still having fun, that's great. But if it's something that I'm not having fun with it and it's viewed as like a chore and if I'm not proud of the end result in a way that's like, yeah, I can boast this, but like it's not something that I think is worth chasing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I feel you on that.
I've never really been a big trophy hunter. I like getting the trophy. I like if I get a trophy, I'll hit the little notification to see what it is. But I've never been like I have to get the platinum. There's one game that I got I had one trophy away from getting a platinum, and I just thought that game sucked. It's not worth going back to do. And so it was Resistance: Burning Skies, the really terrible Vita version of Resistance.
Oh man!
I beat it once, and I only needed one more trophy to get the platinum. I had to just defeat one more of the big enemies. I could have just gone back to that one level, beat him, and that would have been it. Didn't want to because just like it's just not worth it. It's just I don't know. I don't care enough about like those trophies, but I love putting self-imposed challenges on myself. In the Zelda series specifically, I love doing 3-heart challenges. I love doing things like that. And I'll just keep doing that until I've run out of different ways to play that game, or I'm like, I just played this game too much. I need to stop and move on to something else. But I don't know. I don't know why I never became a trophy hunter, because I love getting trophies. I don't know why I've never got into it. I think it's because it feels so unattainable. Yeah. Like, I see so many trophies, like in BioShock. It's the beat the whole game, but never using Vita Chambers. Fuck that. I'm never going to want to do that.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's not that hard.
But it sounds impossible, and I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm a trophy hunter myself too. You know, for gamer score, like I'll go on there and I'll look at what the gamer score is, like what achievements do I need to complete, and I'll try to get those. But when it comes to difficulty and me even playing a game, there's a reason I have never played a Bloodborne or Dark Souls, and I'm not going to pick up Sekiro because I've firsthand events of friends playing the games and breaking their controllers out of frustration. To where I'm like, yeah, that's not me. I can break controllers on my own in a different game where I'm actually enjoying majority of the time. So yeah, like there is that difference of difficulty, and it's a wall for me at least. Is if a game is made to be difficult, no, I'm not going to play it. But if it's a game that I can scale the difficulty on and have it be enjoyable, like in Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm playing on normal difficulty. And I've heard somebody, I think it was on this podcast, that someone was like, yeah, I'm playing it on proud mode and it's easy. And I'm like, yeah, I think I need to bump it up to proud mode to actually make the game enjoyable because it is so easy. So I don't know what achievements that's going to give me, but to make the game enjoyable, to actually give me, I haven't died. And I'm, like on the third world or whatever it is. So I'm like, yeah, there's those times where you need to up the difficulty to make it where it's a challenge to where it keeps you engaged and keeps you wanting to come back for more. But a game that's like notoriously hard where it's like, no, you will not survive. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
See, I like that more than I like taking a game like BioShock that isn't impossible and trying to do something impossible in it. I love the idea of this developer has set this game up to be difficult. They've done things for you to try to understand and to figure out. It's very rewarding when you finally figure those out. But I also really like Nintendo's approach to difficulty. People like to say Nintendo games are so easy, but if you want to get everything in a Mario game, it's really hard.
Definitely.
It is not easy.
Yeah.
And that's where I think they handle difficulty really well, is if you want to beat the game, you can do that and have a fun time. It's not going to be too challenging. But to see that star over there that you can't get, you got to figure out how to get that one.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be a pain in the ass. I love that. I think that's a really great way of handling difficulty in games, where it's variable difficulty. It's just up to you. There's no setting that says make it easier. It's just they've designed it to be easy sometimes and hard other times. And I like that approach a lot.
Yeah. On the flip side of things, I think there are times when Wolfenstein 2 being one in particular, where I've said I'm not enjoying this on standard difficulty, and in order to get what I think the developer wanted me to get from the game, I have to go to baby mode. And I've only done that a couple of times, and I've only started doing it recently, but it's like, I'm here to play this game, I'm here to have fun. And I think, honestly, the run and gun of Wolfenstein 2 on baby mode, just like obliterating everyone, is how that game's supposed to be
On
played.
the first one, I played through the whole game, and I got everything. Like, I played through on near the top of difficulty, then I played through again on the hardest just to see if I could do it. And when I got everything, I went back and played on the easiest mode. And I don't know what they call it, but the picture of BJ Blazkowicz has like a baby, like
he's got a bonnet on.
Yeah, right.
I think it is like baby mode or something like that. It's something along those lines.
It's so
isn't
fun and sabotage. It might be, yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's so satisfying. Just like ripping through Nazis like that. It's like dual wielding weapons. It's amazing. Like, you don't have to worry about your ammo. You're just like you're burning through. It's amazing. Yeah. So I don't think I'll get the platinum. It's not gonna make me enjoy the game any less because I'm not that hard out for a platinum trophy. But it just was unfortunate because the first game kind of led me down a path where I was like, oh, I can do the whole thing and it'll be fun because I love playing the game. But I won't get that satisfaction of the 100%. Which
I think that's tough to deal with sometimes too. Like I sometimes I get the platinum trophy as a way of saying I really love this game and I want to do everything in it to just let the developers know how much I appreciate it. Like Beat Saber
Spider-Man.
and God of War and Spider-Man. But then you look at something like The Last of Us, where I finish the game and I have 6% of the trophies, and you have to play like 40 hours of online. It's like, that breaks my heart to not have more trophies in The Last of Us, but fuck that.
Yeah. Yep.
The difficulty in Wolfenstein 2 is called "Can I Play, Daddy?"
That's great. Yeah, it is like that.
I'm a sexy baby. Can I play, Daddy?
Another reason I don't like trophies is I feel like it turns my games into a checklist.
That's why I like wait until like halfway, 3/4 of the way before I even start looking at the trophy
Yeah,
list.
Chad, I like your method. That's really good. Like, play it normal, play the way the developers want you to play, enjoy it, and then go back and see what you're missing. Yeah, because I think if I was just doing it like a checklist holding, like you said, like I think I would be turned off from a lot of games. Honestly, yeah. I'm not even going to look at the Persona 4 Golden trophy list yet. Like I haven't. Again, it's been 2 hours. I haven't done anything, and I don't have one trophy yet. Like not one has popped.
Read 1,000 text boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. First hour, you already got it. Yeah.
That's brutal.
Well, thanks, Matt, for that riveting discussion about difficulty. Ryan, what's your segment for We Are So Fucking Humble?
Okay, so something I've kind of recently noticed is a lot of games and game developers are coming out with these games that are geared towards streaming. And by streaming, I mean like on Twitch. So like Apex Legends and like Battle Royale genre type games, their money maker really is streamers streaming their games and having people watch it. And if I remember correctly, I think Sekiro was the #1 streamed game, at least on Saturday and Friday, maybe combined or something. And that's how they're going to make money because it's another form of advertisement. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed that a lot of games are shifting towards this pleasure in streaming and someone watching somebody watch the game is how they're actually selling more copies. So the question is kind of like, what's your guys' take on that? And do you think more games are going to continue to make that leap over into stream likeness, I guess? I don't know the right term to call it, but yeah,
that's the future of advertising for games. Like Super Bowl ads, TV ads, we don't watch that anymore. I can't tell you the last time I saw an actual commercial without having to first look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's is
great
their
feeling,
advertising model now.
I hate that.
I'm like, oh my god, there's a new TV spot for Avengers. Fuck yeah, I'll Google that, but I won't see it on TV.
Yeah. But you're right, Chad. You're going to start seeing a growth in that because you're going to start seeing games centered around like Stadia's thing of playing with your content creators and stuff like that online. Like you're going to see games tailored around that idea. Yeah. I think
absolutely.
Also, games like Overcooked. I can't wait to play that in that style. That sounds like an awesome way to play Overcooked. Just like guys, join in.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my god, yeah. Hey, we've got 3 people. We need a 4th person in the kitchen. You're like,
you're a terrible chef. Get out of here. We're bringing someone else in.
There was a company, I think this is, absolutely, people need to have this thought in mind when they're thinking about how they market their game. It surprised me how long it took for the industry to kind of jump on board with that. I think about the company, I forget which game it was, but it was a game where they're like, oh, by the way, you can only stream the first 2 hours of this. You're not allowed to stream anything else from this part to this part. And then they were
wasn't that Final Fantasy?
Copyright strikes against somebody? Or
didn't Final Fantasy do that? No, it was
see that.
No, well, it wasn't the same thing. But Persona did something similar where they said, hey, after this point in the game, you can no longer stream because we don't want there to be spoilers. That made sense. Yeah. That made sense, I think, because it's a story-based game. They don't want the story ruined. That's a big reason people play that game.
Kingdom Hearts 3 had a button that was on the home screen. You hit a button and it brings up the disclaimer for streaming, and I think it's more to protect streamers in a way because it's all about the music and how the music is actually a lot of it's owned by Disney, and so you can't claim it as your own or anything like that. So, Holden, you have something to say?
Yeah, it's not even related to the content. I'm sorry, but it's Stadia related. This would be such a fucking sick feature. Spoiler avoidance. Because they can find out what save state you're at in the game. They could then find out what things you haven't seen in the game. And then block YouTube videos that show that content.
Warning.
Oh, man.
Public warning.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but it's totally
amazing.
Feasible. That's how the save state system works. How the Google, show me how this part of the game works, Google. And then it shows you that part of the game. They know. So they could totally do that.
Definitely.
Wow.
That's cool.
Wow.
There you go.
My headphones got unplugged. I couldn't hear anything.
I just said wow like Owen Wilson.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I think that this, how they market the games is definitely, for streaming, is definitely going to be big going forward. That whole controversy with, they paid, was it Ninja? They paid $1 million to play Apex. And,
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, but, Ninja,
they still made him pay for the game and all of his upgrades.
Ninja,
you're going to pay the $20 to unlock your characters.
Get that money, Ninja. I'm fine with that. As long as you're, you're being forthcoming about this is an ad, they wanted me to play this, whatever, that's fine. But I don't know, that's a great way to advertise a game. Anytime I want to know, I'm not getting demo discs in the mail anymore. Like I'm going on Twitch.
Wait, you're not? I got like 5 today.
Remember Xbox? I don't know if you guys got Xbox Magazine, but that shit was awesome. And you get a demo disc every month. And I probably still have those discs somewhere. But I remember playing Fusion Frenzy. I'm getting way off track. But anyway, I go to Twitch if I want to check out a game, like what's new and hot, and see like what kind of gameplay, what gameplay is like. I go right to Twitch. Number one thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a content creator I think is doing, not a content creator, a company that I think is doing it right? This is Beat Saber. They, first of all, everything about that game is word of mouth and seeing other people play it. But then they recently, a couple months ago, went with all of their artists that create the music for it, and they made agreements that they won't claim anyone on using that music in their YouTube videos and everything like that. So regardless of what you're streaming from the game, you're not going to get copyright claimed, and you're able to make ad revenue off
Awesome.
of it.
Wow. That's so awesome. So awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think even like a lot of games too, like Overcooked will even just say ahead of time, like, stream everything in this game, please, like, show it off.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the way to do it. And they're being, you know, they know what's going on. Like they know they're being I don't know what the word is, but that's just what they should be doing. Like that they shouldn't be restricting people from streaming their games.
Totally. I'm curious how much the streaming initiative will impact someone like Nintendo, who they're going to have to get on board with something like this, and this is totally against their current philosophies.
Didn't they roll back?
You're just going to have to string together a bunch of 15-second clips from holding the share button.
Didn't they roll back a lot of their like they're not going to take down your video, but it's going to be you're not going to be able to make money on it, right? Because before they were.
Well, I think it was Nintendo's creator program to get rid of, and I think that's like they were taking a cut of revenue from your advertising revenue on top of what YouTube is taking, which would leave you with like 40% instead of the 70% you would normally get.
Yeah.
So I think
which is already pennies. So
yeah, exactly.
I think fractions of a fraction of a cent,
which just made them look like assholes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that penny, that's penny.
Mine.
Give it back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like Scrooge, or not Scrooge. Yeah, Scrooge, like just going through town taking from homeless people. Like, oh, you got spare change? Give that to me.
It's true.
Excellent discussion. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
That's going to move us. We are, god dang, almost 2 hours. That's going to move us into our final segment today called Video Game. No shit. God damn it. It's Game on Game Show. The Game on Gaming Show is called Game on our gaming show, where we play a game on our game show. Game.
It's a working title.
Working title, yes. It is called Video Game Would You Rather. It is returned for another great 5-question streak. Once again, we start tame, get crazy at the end. Let's start with, would you rather AAA games didn't exist or indie games didn't exist? Midway tier is not an option.
AAA games didn't exist because I feel like games are getting bigger and bigger, and what a AAA game is right now will be achievable by indies at some point.
Interesting.
That's a very good point. Holden, having you said that, I'm going with indies not existing. Even with you saying that, I'm going to say AAA games are going to stay. Because I'm thinking a little bit of the opposite. I'm thinking that if AAA games are the only thing, I think eventually, like, are we saying that like they just stopped? They never existed, like Thanos snap kind of thing, or are they like they were here one day and then gone the next? Like,
here one day,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
So, okay, so if we know what indies are, I think like I guess it's cheating, but like AAA developers could like build games that are like indies. They're not they're not the same scale.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
Like your Valiant Hearts coming from Ubisoft or something like that.
That's definitely cheating. But I think like in the soul of this question, I'm going to go with the bigger game for sure.
I honestly like at first thought, oh yeah, I would fucking indies stay around forever because they're always the one taking risks and doing really cool experimental things. And then I think back and I'm like, all of my favorite games of all time are God of War and Spider-Man and Last of Us and Uncharted and Celeste is somewhere on that list.
And Breath of the Wild for Chad, for sure.
And fucking Breath of the Wild is very, very low on that list. So I think I would stick with AAA games.
See, and I think I would get rid of AAA games because the only indie game that I've ever played is Celeste. And I think I have missed out on so many great games because I find a AAA game and I stick with it, and that's all I play. Like if you listen to I'm a Call of Duty fanboy. It's mainly the franchise that I always buy every single
Classic
year.
Indie game.
Yes. But I've mentioned too, it's ruined so many other games for me that if I could choose a game to have never started playing, that is the game that I would choose, because it would have opened my gaming library and like what I like and don't like. And indie games, there's so many, diversity in the games. There really is not one that's similar to the next, and I'm missing out on all that.
And you can't say the AAA games. So many AAA games. It's like, this is a shooter. And
Yep.
it's exactly what you expect from a shooter.
Yep.
So
Ryan, do you have Xbox Game Pass?
I do not right now.
Okay.
I'm
When you pick it back up, or just buy Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what indie game.
That's kind of what I mean by those, like, not that Ninja Theory is indie anymore, but
Well, now they're a Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft
exactly.
first party.
But like, that's an example of what I'm talking about. Like you can make big games at a small studio.
Is Hellblade on Game Pass? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck
It is now, yeah.
I'm getting that shit. Hell yeah. I want to play that.
Yes.
I want to play
It's good.
Yeah.
It gets better as you play it. I think the beginning is not as strong as the
Okay.
end. It gets awesome.
I think it's all wonderful. It's all wonderful, and play it with headphones.
Yes, headphones are mandatory.
Okay. All right.
Actually, it even
Was-
tells you at the beginning of the game. Please.
It does,
wear-
yeah.
Please
Okay.
wear
It
headphones.
won. Didn't it win at the Game Awards? Something, sound mixing or something? Didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I think so.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's actually a cool, like, after you beat the game, there's like a 10 or 15-minute video in the menu as well that you could watch about how they do the audio, as well as like some background on the psychological
Oh,
stuff.
dope. All right.
You should watch that after you're done with
Definitely.
Okay, that's cool.
it too. Number 2. Let's say, okay, this one kind of stemmed from a question that was brought up when I was a guest on Who's Next Gaming. Check them out. They're pretty dope. Would you rather an HBO show about Rapture's heyday and how it tumbled into destruction, or the long-rumored Netflix Zelda series?
The Rapture one for sure. Please do
For
not make
sure.
a Zelda
Rapture.
TV series.
Yeah. We're going Rapture.
Rapture for sure.
Yes, Rapture. God, it would be so freaking cool to see, like, Fontaine futuristics and everything, like, people using plasmids all around, like, when they're not crazy yet, and seeing what that world looks like, and then just seeing how the feud with Fontaine and Ryan just, like, completely destroys.
Yes.
That would be dope.
Oh, there would be so many amazing story moments in that game compared to tune in next week where Link steps on a switch and Navi tells him to go somewhere. Like, it just sounds like a horrible show.
The plot of the Zelda show is not even really the problem for me. It's any good RPGs, like good RPGs that I really like, including any of the Zelda games. Like, I like that Link. I like that Link doesn't talk. Like, I can put my voice into Link.
Yep.
If I start now, like, my whole life will be ruined if like, I don't know, like Tom Hanks
don't watch the cartoon show.
Oh yeah, no, refuse. Yeah, refuse.
Yeah, exactly. Because the exact thing. You hear that, "Excuse me, princess." You're like, he doesn't sound like that. That doesn't exist.
He sounds like me. He sounds
not
just
real.
like me.
Exactly.
No, definitely Rapture.
I'm going to start reading every Zelda game in a Matt voice. And I'm going to say it out loud, too.
Just give me the script and I'll voice something for you. Then you can just play it alongside the game.
Careful what you wish for.
Every character will have to sound like.
Yeah.
Number 3. Here we go. Would you rather play Lakitu 64, where you have to play as the Lakitu in Mario 64, and your goal is just to keep the camera in the coolest angles and make sure he can see everything? Or would you like to play kind of like Surgeon Simulator, but Street Fighter Chiropractor?
I'll take Street Fighter.
So you might have, like, Surgeon Simulator is like really silly, and you're like, oh, I'm going to take his intestines and throw him out and scalpel his face. And Street Fighter Chiropractor could be like, cool, I'm just going to punch him in the back and, like, we'll run a car over his spine. I don't know.
I'm going Lakitu.
Yeah.
Lakitu
Yeah,
64?
because I do a lot of that anyway in Forza Horizons 4. Like, I'll pause the game and I'll constantly just be in photo mode. So I think that's just kind of like what
hell
Lakitu
yeah.
does in Mario Kart. Just follows the cars around. I would love that. That'd be dope.
Oh, I'm a photo mode poor. Biggest thing missing from Sekiro, no photo
Oh,
mode.
damn.
Here's the thing, though. Is it a photo mode, or is it like you have to take the right picture, and we're going to give you a grade on it?
Pokemon
In which
Snap.
case, just get the right angle, and that sounds awful. I've played mini games like that, and they're always terrible. Because you have to get the right angle they wanted you. You didn't get the medium shot where it was his waist up. Therefore, that's not a good angle. You got to do it again.
I picture a
I don't
Lakitu
want-
game where you just press
I
start
want-
and that's it. Like, you just play. Like, there's no
You just follow whoever's the first.
there's no instructions, there's no rules. It's just your Lakitu. That's it. You got a camera on a cloud. You're perfect. That's it. You're flying around.
You're a pervert.
Fall Mario or don't. I don't know.
Oh man, that's the quote. Here's the other thing I didn't think about until right now. Street Fighter Chiropractor in VR, I think would be a ton of fun.
No, I don't know. That sounds
Like, are they
just like
are they
punching
trying to
things
fight
and
you, or are you just
snapping necks?
all right. So unrealistic, yes. Realistic,
Yeah,
horrible.
no, exactly. It's like Surgeon Simulator.
Ryu,
It's
stand up
silly.
for me for a second. Does it hurt when I touch you?
Turning
Well,
cough.
then you've never been to a chiropractor, have
No,
you?
I haven't.
I can tell. Number 4. Your plane went down on a remote island in the middle of the Pacific. The only people who survived are you, Pichu, and a little sister from BioShock. Everyone else's body was lost in the ocean. Who would you rather eat to survive?
Pichu. Quick, easy.
An adorable
Yeah.
little baby rat? With
Yes, yeah. I'm not
Also-
gonna. No, you do not remember the episode of we talked about BioShock 2?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not. No, I'm not messing with that
killing
little sister. First off, they creep the hell out of me, and 2, no, it's just you saw my daughter. No. So
Also,
now
like-
that's the thing. That's the face you have to think of now, Chad. So now, what's your choice?
Is this a
I
little
did
sister?
on my second run through kill a little sister just for the hell of it, just to see what it looked like, and I thought of you, and I felt terrible.
Good, you should. I'm glad.
I couldn't eat little sister for everything Ryan mentioned, to be clear. But also, aren't they like infested with Adam and stuff, and they're all like drugged out, and like
Yeah.
what am I gonna get if I eat a little sister? Pichu.
You're gonna get a ton of cool plasmids and a lot of great
Yeah.
powers.
But no, not necessarily, because maybe he doesn't get the cool plasmid. Maybe he gets
Yeah.
the one he doesn't want.
the bees?
Maybe you can bees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that everyone said bees.
Fuck the bees.
Bees? Beans?
I would go with Pichu as well. Also, I feel like if I slaughtered a Pichu, I think I could figure out to activate its like electric gland or whatever, and it would just cook itself.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, resourceful.
I don't want to make
You're
a
on an
fire.
island-
It'll just
Right,
make fire
there you go.
itself.
Take that electric gland, throw it in the ocean, electrifies all the fish, they float to the top.
There we go.
Boom.
Maybe I just put them to work and I don't eat them, and I'm like, give me a fish. There we go.
Yeah, but you can't. That's not a would you rather. It's not. It's not
That's
an
right.
option.
But then when he's not looking, after I have all the fish, I kill and eat him. That's the answer.
He's like, I thought we were gonna be friends.
It's all part of the
You
plan.
betrayed me. Mom told me to be wary of humans. They can't be trusted.
After killing all those fish, though, he evolves into a Pikachu. So then you got to deal with a bigger
more meat.
problem.
I'm good with that.
Hopefully
Let him
he's the
evolve
fat
one more
version of
time to a
Pikachu.
Raichu. Really, like prime him
I'll
up.
force the thunderstorm.
Give him a good
Yeah.
weight.
You got to have
and
the
then-
Thunderstone for that. That could be a little rare on an island.
Well, I don't know. You figure something out.
I would do the Pichu too. Just because, like, you can't kill a human without first killing small animals. That's the progression we've all agreed on in murder.
Netflix
history.
has
I'm
told
sure
me.
there'd be someone who would disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
Our last question. Stick with this one. It's weird. Would you rather your butt was Kirby and you had to treat it well and nicely, or else it could get angry at you and make your life hell in ways that we'll brainstorm together? Or would you rather your legs were Rattly the Rattlesnake from Donkey Kong Country 2, and every time you stub your toe or bang your knee, your leg runs away from you and you have to go catch it and put it back on? Also, you have a bounce to your step.
I gotta go with Kirby because I stub my toe
Well-
far too often. I'm not gonna be chasing. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be. I'll just like constantly just have to be crawling around on nubs because I just.
You just gave
Yeah,
up.
I just have given up. My legs are somewhere around here. If I want them, if I need them, I'll grab them. But
Well, what I would
Think of
do
Kirby
is,
as a pet, though. If you don't tend to it and like give it attention, stuff like that, you could be like taking a dump, like big old diarrhea in the toilet, and it out of spite will just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna suck it all back up into your body right now, and then you're just like, you just got a diarrhea enema thanks to Kirby.
So I'm definitely gonna go with was it Rattly?
Or wait, or you're walking down the street in gym shorts, and Kirby just inhales out of nowhere and rips your gym shorts right off you and sucks it into your butt.
that's true. That's true. That's tough. I'm gonna have
I
to
would
live with
avoid
that.
all that.
The
So
risk is so much higher.
Yeah. Is Rattly the Rattlesnake? Because that was the other one, right? Rattly the Rattlesnake.
Yeah.
What was it? Okay, I'll take
Rattly
that
the
one.
rattlesnake.
because I'll just put suspenders on and attach around the rattlesnake to it. So somebody toe, and then just grab him because he's still attached to me, and there we go.
So it'll still make the and then it'll like bounce around you, but you've got him on a leash.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then I'm not just wearing gym shorts all the time because I have extra suspenders as well. So.
Damn.
Diarrhea enema, you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you.
That's
I'll go with the rattlesnakes, even though I've never played Donkey Kong 2, as far as I remember. So I don't
Oh, it's so good.
quite remember those. But yeah, no, not Kirby. No, I don't eat well enough for Kirby to be happy all the time.
Yeah, that poor Kirby. It's gotta...
Kirby's looking up like, come on, dude, why are you eating that?
Yeah.
Do you have to feed Kirby, or is he just content with just shitting out?
I think he's going to taste whatever comes out, so...
But then do you have to put things in?
I hope not. What is your deal with putting things...
There was
like...
This is so random. There was a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show that was on Disney.
Uh-huh.
And there was... I only saw one episode of it ever, and there was an episode where it was aliens who eat out their butts. And there's literally just a scene where they put a pie on the chair, and he just squishes his butt into it. It's like trying to eat it. Yes.
That's an episode of South Park as well.
Yeah, the South Park.
Yeah, yes,
Martha Stewart like sits on a whole turkey and absorbs it into her butt, and then they pass it on the trash can. She just goes, ugh.
And they puke out of their mouth. It's healthier.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh God!
I don't think.
No, it was a live action show. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking this up. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Hold on,
this
no,
at
that
all.
was just cake farts. You just watched cake farts.
God. Oh God!
I don't even want to know.
No, you don't.
Oh, if you don't know what cake farts is, don't look it up. But it's very similar to what Holden described. Oh God, yeah, I would choose Riley the Rattlesnake too. Just because also you could jump up to high places.
Yes.
Doing box jumps at the gym. That's hot.
It's pretty good. Yeah, you'd be good. Is it noticeable that they're rattlesnakes though?
Oh yeah, they are rattlesnake. Just like your butt is noticeably Kirby.
So could you use them as a weapon as well? Like someone's pissing you off, you just stub your toe and then throw your rattlesnake at them? I don't know.
Rattly the rattlesnake didn't behave like that in Donkey Kong.
No.
He could jump on top of things, but like he was not an aggressive rattlesnake.
Okay. I didn't realize how long the show is on. There are 66 episodes of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show.
No
Disney.
way.
Went on for 3 years, from September 1st, 1997 to May 20th, 2000.
That's absurd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And cake farts is from that.
I guess. I guess so.
Inspired by true
Holden, have
events.
you seen cake farts?
No, I don't know what you're talking
Holden,
about.
you should see cake farts. You should Google cake farts. Ryan, don't do it. You're a married man with a daughter. Don't do it. Holden, you should Google cake farts.
We were making it so enticing. So I'm going to pass.
Please don't.
It's just a woman farting on a cake for sexual pleasure.
Farting on a cake to
sound so
begin with is
tame.
weird. But what's the sexual pleasure aspect of that at all?
You just have to watch it. Thank you,
I don't
everyone.
want
That
to.
brings an end to Game on Game Show and an end to our podcast for the day. Remember to do all the things we told you to do in the middle of the sponsorships that I don't feel like remembering right now. Thank you both to Ryan and Matt from When Gaming. I'm going to give you another chance to plug all of your shit. Go.
Go for it, Ryan.
So you can find me on Twitter at SiloSword. You can also find our podcast, When Gaming, on Twitter at When Gaming. You also find us every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/When Gaming. And we've also, so if you don't get to see our past broadcasts, you can actually watch the podcast version of our stream on YouTube at When Gaming Podcast.
Yeah. And all of that, and you can find me on Twitter at Matt from RI, as in Rhode Island. Part of
Nice.
my identity.
I've actually only consumed your podcast
Yeah,
in
right,
audio
identity.
form, even though obviously the ideal version is video. So I'm going to go check it out in video. Thank you guys, everyone. Until next week, here's our usual sign off. Sekiro! Oh, wait. No, it was a...